This is Coach Yates. You are listening to the always popular Rick Fowler Show on Riot Radio here in Maryville, Illinois. I think that's good, but you want to keep going? Can I leave now?
And now, the Rick Fowler Show.
Thank you, Steve Stockman, for the intro.
You will not laugh. You will not cry. You will learn by the numbers. I will teach you.
And, of course, the Gunnery Sergeant Hartman from Full Metal Jacket brings us in on this Wednesday, October 5th, on our 22nd show. I hope today's been a good one. Today's show is presented by Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps. Contact Mike Dawson to get in shape. He will help you lose those pounds that you've been trying to lose. Here are your deep teases for the show. Today we have Rich Grogan in studio of Grogan's Academy of Martial Arts. A little bit later, we will have Ron Yates in studio. Johno Kabbendjian will be with us, the Ocho Man himself. We're going to talk a little bit about Vin Scully, who just retired, one of baseball's greatest announcers. We're going to talk about the top 5 in my book that are the greatest. We'll do our Rush lyric of the day. The song is going to be Working Man. We're going to do This Week in History. And we're going to have a very special going way back. So I hope you guys have had a great Wednesday. The 22nd show of the Rick Fowler Show today, presented, of course, by Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps. Cardinals just missed the wild card. A little bit below San Francisco. They just could not catch them. They finished with a 4-game winning streak. But so did San Francisco. So this will be the first year in a number of years the Cardinals are not, and it hurts to say it, not in the playoffs. But you know what? I've always said it, if not the Cardinals, why not the Cubs? My buddy the Cubinal, Steve Mayworm, he's part Cubs fan, part Cardinals fan, could not make it today. But he will be celebrating this fall. Hopefully all the way up until early November. So, if not the Cardinals, go Cubs. Here are your NCAA football rankings. Number 5, Washington up from 10. Michigan knocked off Wisconsin in the battle of the two undefeateds. They remain number 4. They had a tight one. Clemson beats Louisville. They're number 3. Number 2 and 1 stay the same with Ohio State 2, and of course Alabama number 1. Wisconsin University drops from 8 to 11 after that close loss to Michigan that I mentioned. So this, as you know, I always tell you, when the fall gets here, it is the rebirth of the Rickster. The Blues are 7 days away from the opening of the regular season. They will open up in Chicago 7 days from now. Then their home opener is the next night against the Minnesota Wild on the 13th. Tonight they are doing an away game, which means they are playing not at their home rink, and the team they're playing is not at their home rink. They are both away. They're playing in Kansas City. So as odd as that sounds, they will have a road game against a team who is also on the road. I think it's Nashville. I probably have that wrong, though. Barrett Jackman signs a 1-day contract to retire as a Blue Note. This guy was a 2003 Rookie of the Year. Sent him away to Nashville last year, spends 1 year, decides to retire, and he comes back, signs the 1-day contract with the Blues. People are always down on Barrett Jackman for not being the best defenseman and whatever, but everything I read says you won't find a better person than Barrett Jackman. So good for them for bringing him back. Like I said, 2003 Rookie of the Year. So today's show is presented by Mike Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps, located online on Facebook at Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps. Reach out to him. I can't say enough about these sponsors that make this hobby possible. So, all right, without further ado, we are going to get into our first guest of the day here. I'm going to cue up some intro music for him. And as I play the music from the Karate Kid, you cannot imagine the smile on Rich Grogan's face. Welcome, Rich, to the Rick Fowler Show.
Well, thank you very much, Rick. So very, very honored to be here. And everybody out there in Radio Land, I tell you what, Rick Fowler and Darren Yates have quite the setup here at Riot Rock Radio Rocks. This is amazing, and I'm very honored to be here. And Rick is a lifelong friend. I met him, I think, second or third grade, and of course that was 4 or 5 years ago. Neither one of us have aged one little bit since then.
That's right.
And Darren I met in high school, and wow, they've both done extremely well for themselves. And like I said, I'm very honored to be here today. So thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Were you shocked at the intro music?
I was shocked. I wasn't exactly sure what was going to come. I mean, a lot of times I go places and they play the song that I don't know, I just want to smack the DJ around is Kung Fu Fighting.
Oh, really?
I'm like, no more Kung Fu Fighting.
Well, when I was putting this together, I thought, what could I play that would be perfect and fitting for him? And I thought, and everybody who's watched The Karate Kid knows that
absolutely.
song. You're the best. You're the best. And so I thought, okay, well, we'll do that one.
That was a good one. And that's all the places I've been. That's actually the first time in a long time that's been played. So thank you very much.
Oh, well, good. One of the neat things is we have two computers here, one that runs some of the music and the streaming, and then the other one, which is a backup computer. I've got access to anything in the world. I've got YouTube up right here with about 10 or 15 tabs just ready to go. And so that's what we did there.
Awesome.
Welcome to the show. Rich is a sponsor of the Rick Fowler Show. He is a presenting sponsor, which means once a month he presents a show, and we bill him as the presenting sponsor, and he makes this possible. So thank you very much for
you're more than welcome. Thank you for having me on.
We go back to probably 1976 or 77.
Yes.
Johnson School, which was a unique school. It was an open classroom school. Oop, I got to turn my phone down. I've got...
He's a popular guy.
Yeah, well. And so we were at Johnson School, probably going back to 77 in the first or second grade, and that is a long time.
Yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about your school, Grogan's Academy of Martial Arts.
Well, thank you. Been in martial arts for, goodness gracious, going on 36 years now. And it was something I started, Bruce Lee was always an idol, and then, of course, Chuck Norris. And subsequently, the martial arts style, the primary style we're involved in is Tung Sudo, is what Chuck Norris received his black belt in. And his senior instructor, if you will, is also, was my senior instructor. Now, he passed away in 2002. Wong Kee was his name. But as we know, Chuck Norris is 76 this year, and he's continuing to rock it out and continue moving forward and looking great.
He doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the earth away.
I've heard that, right. And there's several others that Chuck Norris.
There's a whole website dedicated to him.
Absolutely.
He doesn't look for the boogeyman.
No,
the boogeyman looks under the bed for
Chuck Norris. There we go. Yeah, that could be a whole show by itself, right? Anyway, back to the academy. It's a passion of mine, and the biggest thing with the martial arts, everybody often thinks of MMA is very popular now, and that's kind of the physical side of it. Right. And that is a part of the martial arts, the physical side. However, there's two other sides that I feel are even more important than the physical, and that's the mental and the emotional side. The mental side is that belief in yourself, that confidence, that ability for kids to raise their hand in school if they don't understand a question, the ability to stand up for somebody else that may be bullying another student. And then the emotional side, we all have emotions. Some days you feel like, you're angry, you feel like punching a hole in the wall. Other days you feel like crying, and that's just human emotions. We have those emotions, but through the power of the martial arts program, you're able to learn how to control those emotions, and you work kind of a perfect balance. And the Korean word for that is Jonsuk, internal peace, and that's when the physical, mental, and emotional all in perfect harmony and alignment, and therefore you're living your best possible life, successful life, a happy life. Now, every day is not sunshine and rainbows. We'd like for it to be that way, but it's not. Some days you have the rainy days, but of course the rainy days just remind us how good the sunny days are.
Well, it's all according to how you roll with that adversity.
Absolutely.
There are not every day is going to be perfect, like you said. You're going to have the ups and downs, and it's the ability to power through those peaks and valleys when you're at the low points. I do have our first text in here. Somebody has texted in. It's Steve Stockman has texted in and said, "You are sounding great radio voice, Rich."
Well, I'll tell Steve thank you very much, and I'm sad as can be that Steve's not here.
Yep.
Love to see him. We played football together in middle school and then high school, and I tell you what, Steve was a trooper. He truly was. He was inspiring.
Right. Yeah, he did a good job playing the game and wasn't a gigantic guy and had a huge heart.
Right, that's exactly right. He was the Rudy, no doubt about it.
Right. So tell us how the expansion of your school is going. I know you've been working in the back room for 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, we I guess our first location, and we started a business in 1997, and the business was Grogan's Martial Arts and Fitness, with kind of a high emphasis on the fitness part. It was going around different health clubs, teaching aerobic classes, self-defense classes, doing some motivational speaking, and but I wanted, I guess, my own place, just like any entrepreneur wants their own place, and for years upon years, I just couldn't find that right place. Excuse me. So I was doing a variety of different health clubs. Well, 2005, we were able to finally open up our first location. I was a PE teacher in Edwardsville at the time, so I was teaching during the day and then running the academy at night. Our first location is about 600 square feet with a pole right in the middle of the floor, which made it, it was a challenge to navigate around. And of course, it helped the students with awareness.
I hope it was padded.
When you start your own place, you try and do all of it you can. So right. I had some old carpet laying around, so I wrapped it around there and stapled it to there.
Necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Absolutely. And anyway, we were there for a while. Then we moved to our second location, about 900 square feet. And then in 2011, the Edwardsville Arts Center, is what it formerly was, became available. Now, how things work out is pretty amazing in life. Now, I always talk to kids and adults about always doing your best, always being respectful to others, and always carrying your A game. And what I mean by that is I would teach during the day and then go to the studio once we got that going. But prior to that, the aerobic classes. So I'd teach anywhere from 3 or 4 or 5 aerobic classes at night after teaching 9 or 10 PE classes during the day. And yeah, I was always a little bit tired, but I always felt when people are going out of their way to come to a class of mine, I've got to bring it and give it all I've got. Give it my A game.
That's right.
Because it's just the right thing to do. It's the honorable thing to do.
And they're paying for that too. They're
absolutely,
paying for that
absolutely, and they're not paying to hear me whine because I've had a rough day or this or that.
I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm
tired. Guess what? We're all tired.
We're all tired. You're 100% right there, Rick. And anyway, little side note here. The big thing of really trying to instill in kids and adults is by always giving your best, you're going to condition yourself and you're going to condition your mindset to continue giving your best. Now, are you going to be successful every single time? Are you going to win every time? No. I mean, there's been times, and I was a big hockey player. That was my first passion. But there's been times I went out there on the ice and gave it everything I've got. I always believed in laying it on the line. And same thing, preparing for events and tournaments, giving it all I've got, and I didn't win. Well, maybe I should have, maybe I shouldn't have, but I didn't. But there's also been times when, for whatever reason, it just wasn't clicking, and I did win. But every single time, regardless, I always gave it my best. And I promise you listeners out there and kids and adults everywhere, if you always give your very, very best, then the odds are going to be in your favor. You're going to have more wins than losses. So back to what started here, 2011, the Arts Center became available. So I'm searching around on who owns the Arts Center, who can I contact, and it happened to be a lady that took my aerobic class, water aerobics, years ago.
Look at that.
It's amazing. And so I get her number, and I call her up, and I said, this is Rich Grogan. I'm not sure if you remember me. And she goes, oh, my gosh, yes, I remember you. I've been wanting to get a hold and talk to you. I saw you've got your studio going, and la, 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 la. Well, anyway, I wanted to rent her building. And we got to talking, and to be honest with you, there's absolutely zero way on the planet I could have afforded the size of this building. I went from a 900 square foot building, paying $900 a month in rent, to this building which I was going to rent 3,600 square feet, and the rent was going to be quadruple. Long story short, by doing what she said was a great job years ago, teaching the water aerobics and inspiring and motivating her and helping her believe in herself, we worked out a tremendous deal, and she made this possible.
Wow.
And, yeah, it made it possible. And then at March this year, 5 years later, we actually bought the building from them and did renovations, as Rick just talked about. And 5,400 square feet. We've got 2 huge training surfaces, and our classes are moving along.
Well, that's tremendous. You know, the old saying is that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Good old Wayne Gretzky.
Right? Right?
Absolutely.
And so I believe that. You get talking about having your worst day or a bad day and then being successful. And I can remember as a senior in high school playing football and sitting down at about 3:15, geared up on the steps, and I'm getting ready to go out to practice and thinking, man, I don't have it today. I don't have it. I'm not. Maybe I didn't eat enough. It's hot. I just headache. Whatever. So I go out and I have the practice of my life, and I've always reverted back to that. And so, even in the world of competitive powerlifting, there are days you don't want to go stand up with 400 or 500 pounds. You just, whatever. You work late, you're at school, you're studying, when I'm younger. Nowadays, of course, I work a lot of overtime or whatever. You don't have it. And I revert back to that. I think, you know what? There was that day when I didn't have it, and I went out and brought it, and had the best practice of my life. And so, yeah, you don't ever know until you try.
Right.
And
what you've done there, Rick, you laid a foundation, and you've got a go-to now. Without that experience, without feeling like, man, I really don't want to do this, but powering through. And we were talking earlier, and I mentioned you, the only real difference between successful people and successful people are willing to do that little extra that unsuccessful people aren't.
Right.
So that day that you didn't feel like practicing, you could have just as easily developed a habit right then and there of, you know what, things are tough, I'm going to give in, I'm going to give up.
Right.
And boy, you know what, that would be your go-to. You'd condition yourself to do it. That first excuse is the toughest, but after a while, the excuses get easier and easier and easier. Sort of like you're going to the gym, you got a good routine going, and for whatever reason, you can't go one day. Well, next thing you know, that was an excuse. Next day, another excuse. And then you're starting to develop a habit in the wrong direction. Well, you've delayed the foundation of conditioning your mindset that, you know what, I am going to battle through because I've learned by doing so, I'm going to experience something that I wouldn't have experienced.
Right. And as you go along, you get a little smarter. 30 years ago, if you missed a workout, you thought, oh my God, I'm getting smaller and weaker. Now, of course, when you take a week off, you're going to come back stronger than you've ever been because you haven't touched a weight in 6 or 7 days. And so it's funny how that works. You learn to...
The good old power of experience, like
learn
you mentioned,
what works.
Wisdom.
Right. You get older. So, that's neat stuff. So you started teaching in 97?
We started the business, Grogan's Martial Arts and Fitness, in 1997.
But you were teaching well before that.
Yes, yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. I was looking back the other day, somebody asked about hockey, and I was an assistant coach, 14 years old, I guess, so it was 1984. Now, of course, I really had no business being an assistant coach.
Who were you coaching, Mites?
Yeah, Mites and Squirts. And it was, well, if anybody's ever seen Mites and Squirts play, you know what a ride that is. And it was great, it was good, and so kind of had that teaching to it. I, of course, wanted to be a pro hockey player like everybody else, but it just wasn't in the cards. And it wasn't a matter of giving up. It was just a matter of swallowing that bitter pill.
Well, having some realization that
there you go.
You either have it or you don't, and very few of us do.
I understood the game, and I always had the passion to better myself and to continue learning. As a matter of fact, a little side note here, a little thing I tell the instructors at our academy all the time, anytime I go and give motivational speeches, is a little acronym called CAN I, and it's for constantly and never-ending improvement, always trying to better yourself. Kind of one of those happy but not satisfied. Good will never be great. And it's, you're satisfied with where you are to a certain degree, but satisfaction sometimes leads to complacency. And when you become complacent, we were talking about this earlier as well, the law of inertia. The law of inertia is once an item's in motion, it tends to stay in motion. Once an item's at rest, it tends to stay at rest. And you got momentum, you got energy, you got action, then keep it going. It's a lot easier to take one step than the next and the next. But once you stop completely, almost like pushing a car, it's hard as heck to get it started.
That's right. I tell these kids that I coach, whether it's softball or hockey, which I'm head coach of my daughter's hockey team this winter, that you don't get any smarter reading the same book and talking about having the mind power to push yourself. The strongest thing on you isn't the biceps, and it's not the legs. It's the brain.
Absolutely.
You got to be able to invoke that head muscle and then bring would push the body. So
well, and that gets back to brawn is limited where the mind is infinite.
Right.
It continues on, and as you and I continue to season very well, we're not in our teens anymore. We're not in our 20s anymore. So we've got to be a little bit smarter. And I have guys come into the academy all the time, and I'm like, man, I remember when I was a young whippersnapper, so to speak.
Well, you recovered faster.
Well, exactly, and that's the whole thing.
And as we get older, I'm sure you'll agree you have to train differently because your recovery time isn't the same.
Right, and that's where the mental side and the wisdom comes in. And that was a great point you brought up about reading the same book over and over and over again. And there's nothing wrong with reflecting on a book, but there's more knowledge out there. Find something else and continue to expand your knowledge. And I know this is something we spoke about. I got to see Rick at the airport not too terribly long ago, and a little shout out to the TSA agents.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, they work their tails off. 4 in the morning, and they're going like maniacs. It was great.
I've never had a bad day there. And I know it's hard to believe. People say, man, you got a tough job. I've had some tough jobs. That's not one of them.
Good.
The hardest part for me is answering the bell at 1:30 a.m. When I get up, as soon as my feet hit the floor, then I'm good. But just getting up at 1:30 in the morning, that's the hardest part. But other than that...
Well, and I think a lot of that's your mindset, Rick. You're a very positive, motivating guy, and you choose. The old story. There's a picture of a bus, 2 people sitting on opposite sides of the bus. One sees sunshine, the other sees rain and clouds.
Right.
And you choose your day, and we don't always wake up feeling great. Right. We make the choice. You know what? I'm going to have a good day.
I choose to be the John Gotti of the checkpoint. I'm wrapped in Teflon, and I absorb nothing bad. Nothing sticks to me.
That is absolutely awesome, and wow, kind of funny you say that. I was a couple weeks ago in Chicago with Jack Canfield, the Success Principles,
right?
And one of his principles he talks about is putting on your armor before you go out in public, and your armor is your armor of positivity to deflect those negative arrows. Because before you know it, if when arrows start penetrates through, then another one, then another one. But if you got that armor on, they're going to bounce right off. But that armor is established obviously by that confidence and belief in yourself,
right? Yep, got to be able to roll with it. Guys, if you've just joined us, you're listening to Rich Grogan of Grogan's Academy of Martial Arts. He's on the Rick Fowler Show. You're listening to RiotRadioRocks.com. So, you've trained all over the world and done some different seminars. Where all have you went?
Well, throughout the United States, for sure. And I've had the luxury and then the honorable opportunity to train in Korea on 4 different occasions. And the Korean experience was something beyond words. Pretty much they would take us over, and we'd fly into Incheon Airport, go through Seoul, and then up in the mountains. We'd stay up in the mountains for 8 days, and we would be up at, it was always a contest to see who could be up and on the mountainside the earliest. You had to be there by 5 o'clock, lined up, ready to go, but most of us were usually there by 4 o'clock, because by all means, you did not want to be the last person lining up on the mountain there. And there were just a handful of Americans. I was fortunate enough to be one that was selected to go, and the mornings, I tell you what, the sunrises in Korea were absolutely amazing, because we were pretty high altitude. Some days it would be like kind of a red, some days it'd be like an orange, and other days like a yellow. Just depends on how the cloud cover was, because we were, like I mentioned, pretty high up in the mountains. And we would start with some energy breathing, and then we'd go for a 5-mile run, 2.5 miles further up the mountain, then 2.5 miles back down the mountain. And the part of the training was 8 days long, and the mindset was, we're going to challenge you to the point of trying to make you break to see where your foundation is. Once you've hit rock bottom, are you able to pick yourself back up? And the days would start, like I mentioned, 4 in the morning, and they would train till anywhere from 1 or 2 in the morning. And then you'd be given projects to work on before you went to bed. And a project, if we had a couple Koreans in our group, and we had another gentleman from Australia, and they're written in your own language, but you got to try and figure out the communication barrier and put this project together to present the next day. So in the food, we went down the bottom of the mountain in a Korean soup kitchen, and I'm telling you, I think the same food we ate on day 8 was the food we ate on day 1.
Really?
It was and rice and kimchi, and they're very adamant about you do not waste the rice, whatever you do. So kimchi, I don't know if everybody's had that before. It's a pickled cabbage. They ferment it in manure, and boy, oh boy, when that starts sweating through your pores, it really smells. But it help with the sinuses.
Yummo.
Yeah, absolutely. But so day 1 is when I kind of hit my wall. I'd been first time I was over there, it was 95. It was more of a celebratory experience. And then in 2003 was the real battle. And day one, after I've trained for 25, 26 years at this point, go over there and we do basic motion for 6 straight hours. Basic motion is your basic hand, punch, kick, and things of that nature stuff. I've done, 10,000 times minimum, if not more. And we're going through this, and I have a total brain freeze. I can't, what's going on here? All I know is I keep turning around, having to bow. It's a sign of protocol when you make a goof.
Right.
So we get through it all, and that night we go to bed, and then here's the thing. We slept on a hardwood floor. They gave us a pillow and a blanket. Now, you can cover up with a blanket, or you could lay it down on the floor, but that's all you got. And I thought, my gosh, what am I going to do here? Am I going to jump in the Pacific Ocean and swim home? I don't know. I can't. It came to me as like, well, you can't get any worse. Might as well build from here.
Right.
And it's similar to your story about, everybody goes through that. You want to give up. But by battling through, the next 7 days were a breeze. Now, when I got home, it kind of was a mindset to train the mind to ignore the pain, to let it all go. And they did little Jedi mind tricks, if you will. If you've got a muscle in your quadricep that isn't feeling pain, then you focus on all the positive energy out of that. And then tomorrow we're going to focus on another muscle that, isn't feeling all that pain. You're going to use the positive energy of that just to keep you going. So anyway, it was a wonderful experience, and I've had the opportunity to experience that 4 different times, and that really kind of solidified the passion and desire that it was always there, but was able to bring it out and help. You're going to have those days, but don't give up. Perseverance, battle through, and most importantly, believe in yourself and know that you can do it.
Man, that's great stuff. Guys, if you've just joined us, like I said, we have Rich Grogan in the studio from Grogan's Academy of Martial Arts. We're going to run some commercials. We'll be right back in just a minute or two. The number to call in is 618-223-8054. We'll be right back.
Of pets. When you need a kennel, select only the best, and that's Spencer Kennel in O'Fallon, Illinois. Spencer Kennel offers premium care of your pet in a clean, friendly environment. All of our kennels are inside-outside kennels, climate-controlled, and come with a Kuranda bed. We even feature 2 wings to accommodate smaller and elderly dogs in a calm setting. Feel free to come tour the facility anytime during business hours. Spencer Kennel in O'Fallon, Illinois, 1405 East Highway 50. Contact them online at spencerpets.com. Once again, that's Spencer Kennel in O'Fallon, Illinois. Locate them online at spencerpets.com. Hey guys, looking for something different? How about Grogan's Academy of Martial Arts? Located in Edwardsville near the post office. Their mission is to help each student live the best possible life through exceptional martial arts instruction. They are one-of-a-kind life skills and character development academy that specializes in positive motivation, physical fitness, and practical self-defense. Kids learn to make good choices and develop good habits, leading to better behavior at home and better grades in school. Teens develop confidence and high self-esteem while learning to focus their attention and achieve goals. At Grogan Martial Arts, their principles are humility, integrity, courtesy, confidence, courage, and perseverance. Their goal is black belt excellence, and they lead by example. Visit them online at grogansmartialarts.com or call them at 618-656-7700. Once again, that's grogansmartialarts.com or call at 618-656-7700. Look no further than Epic Realty. Epic Realty specializes in the personal side of the realty business, catering to new owners or owners that haven't bought in a while. With our 201-point selling process, each agent takes great care in making sure your experience is refreshing. Unlike the big names in the business, Epic Realty ensures that you aren't lost in the shuffle. With our high-tech marketing, we use the latest tools in the business to your advantage and at no extra cost. Epic Realty is based in Madison and St. Clair counties, as well as St. Louis. We not only help customers to buy new homes, but we also hold seminars for new buyers. Essentially, we're a personal service ready to handle each new buyer with care. Intimidated by the process of buying? Look no further than Epic Realty. Contact Managing Broker Kim Binda of Epic Realty at 618-205-3337 or online at epicrealty.biz. Once again, that's Epic Realty at 618-205-3337 or online at epicrealty.biz.
Gonna be some sweet sounds coming down the night shift.
Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camp.
Hey folks, you want to get in shape and lose weight? Look no further than Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps in Granite City. Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps run classes 7 days a week, specialize in training ordinary people, but delivering extraordinary results. In fact, they cater to people who aren't elite athletes. Mike Dawson has created what could best be called a gigantic support group for those wanting to not only get in shape, but to stay in shape. Contact Mike Dawson at 618-806-5311 or on Facebook at Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps. Once again, contact Mike Dawson at 618-806-5311 or on Facebook at Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps.
Sing it. We will rock you.
All right, if you just joined us, we got Rich Grogan in the studio of Grogan's Academy of Martial Arts. Today's show is presented by Mike Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps. Visit them on Facebook at Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps. Thus far, we've talked about Rich's school, the new studio that they've expanded. They're located in Edwardsville. You stop by and visit them. A lot of good stuff. He's actually trained in Korea and done a whole lot with it. So tell us about your philosophy.
Well, essentially, philosophy in kind of our mission, our purpose, our why is to help students believe in themselves first and foremost. And as we know, self-confidence and self-respect is something that's severely lacking in this country, and it continues to, move in the opposite direction, the wrong direction. And what we try and do is it's just instill that confidence, let kids know through success that they can believe in themselves to achieve more success. And obviously, the more successful you are at achieving goals, small goals to start with and then bigger goals, but making those goals where you have to earn them. And what I mean by that is a little sidebar here. The kids, when they come in, they have to earn their uniform. We don't give their uniform out. They have to work hard to earn that. And that's simply, they've got to be respectful. They got to put their shoes side by side. They have to be respectful to mom and dad. Please and thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. All those little things. And those are small successes that move up to big successes, but you're building a foundation. And once they've done that through the first 4 weeks, and mom and dad kind of give the uniform to mom and dad, here you go. When they have earned it at home, they've earned it here. Now it's in your hands. And really, parents like that, having that power to be able to do that. So that develops that confidence. I can succeed. I can do this. And that leads to building their self-respect. And when you respect yourself, you're going to have a much easier time respecting others. And as we know, there's a lot of people that not only don't respect themselves, but like law enforcement, things of that nature. There's no respect, and that's an authority figure, a principal, a teacher, an adult. You should show respect to them. But the reason a lot of kids and adults have a hard time with that is simply because they don't respect themselves enough. So that's the kind of the core foundation, is to believe in yourself, to respect yourself, so you can respect others.
So with that, do you have a lot of success stories of kids that come in that are kind of train running off the tracks that you're able to turn around?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for asking that question there. I'm fairly active myself. Parents will come in and say, hey, my kid's got ADD, ADHD. Can you do that? And I go, well, I specialize in all those things.
Well, Well, I played hockey. No out of bounds, and yes,
exactly. And I've got all those as well. Adult ADHD, all the D's. But the biggest thing on that is what I think happens too many times in society with kids like that. Society wants a cookie cutter mold. They want every child to be exactly the same. Well, every child's not the same, and too many times we crush and squash kids' personality because, well, he's too rowdy, he talks too much, he does this, he does that. Well, allow them. And I always give the example. I was the cookie that spread all over that. I'm still burning on the bottom of the stove there. Now we try and take those kids and not let them burn all over the stove and fall over the plate. However, let them expand and be who they are. Right. That way they develop that confidence in themselves. Now, what we have to do though is we do have to set some boundaries because we can't have them totally out of control. But let them believe in themselves that they're not different, they're not wrong. They just got a little more energies. What we're going to do is we're going to place that energy and utilize that energy to help you develop your purpose, your life.
Yeah, they got to have an outlet for it.
Oh, absolutely.
But at the same time, some rules.
Yes, and that's where the discipline and then self-respect comes into play. There is, if you can't respect yourself, you're not going to respect others, and if you can't respect others, then you're never going to be respected in society.
Right. We have become a society of videoing, complete with street fights that are routinely recorded instead of people breaking them up. Where are we going, and how do we put an end to stuff like that and the bullying?
Well, in today's media world, everybody wants a million hits or a million views on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram, and we've turned more into, we've drifted off to what I call a whiffum society. What's in it for me? So instead of placing others first, we're placing ourselves first. Now, it's kind of always been that way, but more and more and more, a million views on Facebook is better for me than it is to try and help somebody out.
Right.
And of course, that's the wrong line of thinking.
Oh, we're an instant gratification.
I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. And almost to the point, well, sorry for him, but it didn't hurt me. We've got to change that. And that all starts right to our foundation, that confidence, that belief in yourself. Because everybody, and here's the thing with bullying, and I do all kinds of bullying seminars and bullying awareness clinics, and I utilize examples. Well, I'll have 3 or 4 kids come up, and one kid will role play as the bully, another kid will be the victim, and the other 2 or 3 will just stand there. And they're standing there. Why? Out of fear. They don't know what to do. Right. And they're just more or less saying, man, I'm glad he's bullying him and not me, so it's a better him than me. Right. But it's not that these kids don't feel bad about it. They feel bad in their stomach, their heart. They don't like it, but they don't know what to do. They don't know how to take action. They don't know how to stand up to the bully. And that, once again, gets back to the foundation of that self-confidence, to stand up for yourself. And in a situation, instead of filming and getting that million hits, which, it's kind of a dopamine hit. The feel good, I got to hit a dopamine because it's instant gratification. But that's not going to last. There's a more powerful chemical, feel-good chemical, called oxytocin. And that's the chemical when you help others out. And that's the feeling that lasts a long time. You see me help somebody out, you feel good. Well, somebody else sees that, you want to help them out, and of course that's where the endless cycle continues to pay it forward. Right. And that's the oxytocin rush, if you will, and that's the one that lasts a long time. Those are feel-good chemicals in the body.
What about the kids who are the wallflowers or the outcasts who aren't involved in anything? Do you have kids like that?
Yeah, we've got kids that, and we like to, we believe and know our program is good for everybody. We've got something to offer everybody, because self-confidence, we could all learn from that. And moving in so you've got one of our students, one of our black belts, is actually a starting quarterback for the Edwardsville High School. And he's a superstar. So he's got that to help his game, help his mental game, help his emotional game, his physical game with balance, flexibility, the confidence to believe in himself. And then we've got other kids that, aren't they don't play sports, and the parents say, hey, they really don't fit in. No, I don't really like when they say they don't fit in. They just haven't found their niche yet. Right. And but it all boils down to whoever you are, self-confidence is such a huge factor, because that's what helps. Even for adults, if you feel like your boss is belittling you, but you don't have the self-confidence to stand up to him, now I'm not talking jump up and kick him in the head. Right. I'm talking, face them and say, hey, I don't like the way you're treating me. And then believe enough in yourself that you can go out and get another job. You can improve your life, and you can improve who you are by that power of self-belief.
Right. And so you had mentioned that October is National Anti-Bullying Month.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and what you're doing with it.
And October October is a powerful month. We've got a lot going on in October. Obviously, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's Red Ribbon Week throughout majority of the schools, which the DARE program, Dare to Resist Against Drugs. And it's also Bullying Awareness Month. And with bullying awareness, it's once again just instilling the tools for kids to believe in themselves. Don't stand by and allow someone else to be bullied. And then, of course, don't let yourself be bullied either, but stand up to those. Now, here's the sad thing about bullying. Most bullies, and I'd say almost all bullies, have been bullied before, and that's their go-to.
Kind of cyclical.
They've been conditioned to do that. And most kids and most bullies really aren't bad people. They've just been conditioned to do that, and they don't know what else to do.
Right.
And it's usually out of fear of not fitting in, or fear of jealousy of somebody else. So what they do is everybody has emotions. We talked about that earlier. Well, their outlet for emotion is to bully. Now, that doesn't constitute or make it right, obviously, but that's just how they interact. So our biggest thing with the bullying awareness is giving the tools to believe in yourself, to stand up to bullying, stand up to negative peer pressure and say no, stand up for those that can't stand up for themselves. And those tools are simple little things. Eye focus, looking in the eye. We call it the tiger's eye. You look with, hey, enough, and you speak with a lion voice. Stop right there. Don't touch me. Leave him alone. You say it with authority. You don't stop, because then you're kind of meek and you're going to be taken advantage of because you don't show that courage and confidence in yourself. So it's simple little tools like that, standing up. Now, the factor is you help the other kids that are being bullied, but you don't turn around and start calling the bully actually a bully, calling him names, because now you've just flipped the tides.
Right.
You say, hey, look, we want to be friends with you, but I can't be friends if you're going to be mean to these other kids. Now, some kids that are really conditioned with bullying, they're going to find somebody else to bully. It's unfortunate. It is what it is.
Right, and you see it a lot.
Oh yeah, but on the other side, there's a lot of times that kid just doesn't know how to act. Probably a movie my kids love is How to Eat Fried Worms. If you've ever seen that movie, you talk about the one kid was bullying all the way through, made a kid eat the worms. Well, at the end, the reason that kid was being a bully because he had an older brother that continued to bully him and made fun of him if he didn't bully. So that kind of paints the picture of most bullies. Now, don't get me wrong. There's people out there that are just kind of mean.
Just what they do.
They just what they do.
Right.
And but everybody has a heart, and I think you can touch base with that.
Right. Those are the ones you just want to avoid.
Absolutely.
We've got a text in. Steve Stockman has texted, what is the street value of oxytocin and where can he get it?
Steve's beautiful. Absolutely. Well, let me I'll touch on the 4 feel-good chemicals. Okay, we got endorphins, that runner's high, feeling good. Then we've got dopamine, which is kind of that quick hitter, reach the goal, I got to have another one. Almost like when a text message comes in, you got to have that dopamine rush. I got to see what it is. And then we got serotonin, and then we've got oxytocin. And the first 2, endorphins and dopamine, are kind of the self-serving feel-good chemicals, but the serotonin and the oxytocin are the 2 that are kind of feel-good from helping out others. And basically, and Zig Ziglar said this, he's one of my favorites, how do you get what you want in life? By helping enough other people get what they want. And that's kind of the pay it forward. You do what you can to help out others, and you're going to eventually be successful. Just like we talked about earlier about you always give your best. You may not always win right away, but by continuing to condition yourself to give your best, you're going to have far more wins than losses. And how you do that is be nice to everybody. Wave to people, let people out in traffic, hold the door for people, doing things for others, but not looking for something in return. Not holding, I did this for you, you owe me. Well, you're never going to get the oxytocin rush from that. How you're going to get the oxytocin rush is doing it from the heart, helping people out, and your purpose is helping them, not helping you. You will get the rush, the feel good off of that by just doing the right thing. And I know you had mentioned in our commercial earlier about kind of our purpose, and I know we're running out of time.
No, we're good. We're good.
A book I read by Simon Sinek, it's called Start With Why, and he talks about most people can tell you what they do, some can tell you how they do it, but most businesses and entrepreneurs really can't tell you why they do it. And the why is the central focal point of your purpose in life. And everybody, you're born with a purpose, I'm born with a purpose. Well, the hardest thing is most of us don't know what that purpose is, and that purpose isn't just going to present itself. You've got to take action in order to make that purpose present itself. And your purpose is whatever you feel the most comfortable doing, whatever that may be. You've got the Rick Fowler Show. You're good at it. That's your purpose. I feel good about inspiring and motivating people.
We didn't tell stories on the Rick Fowler Show. show here. We try to keep it truthful here. Isn't it? Your nose is growing.
Oh, almost hit the microphone. No, of course. Now that my nose just grew there because I took that back. See what happens? But anyway, the purpose is to inspire people to believe in themselves.
Right.
I truly, our why at the Academy and all my instructors and employees is to help our community become a happier, healthier, and safer place to live. Why is that? For future generations to come.
Right.
Not just for today or tomorrow, but for the next day. So when my kids grow up, society is a happier, healthier, and safer place to live. They're not scared to death.
Well, we can't always just take it. We got to give back.
Oh, and that's all about that giving back. Give unconditionally. How do you get what you want in life? Like Zig Ziglar, once again, by helping enough other people get what they want in life. Right. And that's kind of our thing. Believe in yourself. Help kids and students believe in themselves in order to live their best possible life. A life of honor, integrity, and respect. And if you've got those things, and you're going to have every day's not sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
So kind of repeat that. You're going to get knocked down. One of my favorite quotes is from Rocky. Nothing hits harder than life.
Yeah.
It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. And that's, and he says it. That's how winning is done.
Right.
That's how you win at life. Not every day is going to be great, but you have to battle through. You have to persevere. And most importantly, you can't give up. Most people give up just inches from their goal. Real quick side story. We started the business in 97. And to be honest, I was always kind of embarrassed to share some of this stuff, but I'm writing a book. It should be out by the spring. And it's called Square Peg Round Hole. Why try to fit in when you were born to stand out? Just telling people, believe in yourself. You don't always have to fit in with everybody else. It doesn't mean you're an outcast and disrespectful, but most time we feel like you're sardines. I don't really feel comfortable here, but it's more comfortable than me and out by myself.
Right.
Believe in your purpose. Surround yourself with people that think like you, that or you have a vision to be like, and surround yourself with those people. Because as you know, we're a product of the 4 or 5 people we surround ourselves with the most. If you surround yourself with 4 successful people, automatically you're going to become the 5th. You surround yourself with 4 people that are, doing inappropriate things, doing things they shouldn't be doing. Before you know it, you're going to conform to that.
Right. You are the company you keep.
Absolutely, 100%.
Now, I will tell folks that the Rocky quote, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had the annual Missouri Hockey Coaches Meeting over in St. Louis. My buddy Pat Culleberg, who is also a Granite City graduate, is the Missouri
hockey
State
player.
Chairman. Yes, he is the chairman of Missouri Hockey, and brought Rich over to talk to the coaches, motivational speaking, talk to them about teaching the kids and reaching the kids, and ended his motivational speech with the Rocky quote, which was very, very good. How do people reach you, and how do they get in touch with you?
And I hope I did Rocky justice with it.
It was good. It was very good.
And one last point, I've got a podcast starting up, and it should be starting up toward the end of this month in October, called Kickin' Life. It's available on iTunes and Audible through Amazon. And the whole thing about the Kickin' Life is it's got a little martial arts perseverance and battle through message, but the whole thing is how to believe in yourself to live your best kickin' life. So I'm going to kick you in the tail. How they can get a hold of me is through Kickin' Life, is through the podcast, also through our Facebook page. I've got a couple Facebook pages. Kickin' Life Guru, Rich Grogan is Facebook page, and then Grogan's Martial Arts is for the martial arts side of it.
Awesome stuff. I think if anybody's listened for any length of time, it wouldn't take long to realize you're about a lot more than just the martial arts, and so that's the best part. All right, as is the case, anybody on my show, we got the 3 questions we always go to. What music do you listen to?
80s, 100%.
That a boy.
Yo, if I can't go anywhere else.
You fit right in here. Last meal, if on death row, what would it be?
Wow, that's a shot, isn't it? Well, I got to go with steak and lobster.
Steak and lobster. All right. The one person that you'd like to meet or see again, that can be living or dead?
Zig Ziglar.
Zig Ziglar.
100%. And another one I haven't had the fortune of meeting just yet, but that's coming up in the near future, is Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to meet him.
Got a lot of energy.
Yes, I think I can match him.
Yeah, well, I think so. I'm looking at what he's drinking here, and it's not coffee. So he's got water on the table, but I'm going to have him tested for see if he's over-caffeinated.
Well, that's the ADD and ADHD I was talking about.
That's
so when
right.
parents ask if I can help their kids, I'm like, well.
I'm all over the map.
All over the map. Focus.
I get get it. That's the way hockey works for us. All right, guys, that's Rich Grogan of Grogan's Academy of Martial Arts. Thanks a lot for joining us. You're welcome to hang around. We're going to get a couple other segments to roll here.
Okay.
The second hour, we're going to do a special going way back with Coach Yates and also Johno Kabbendjian, who just walked in.
Yes, he did. It's good to see him.
On to our next segment. It is Vin Scully. He is retiring. He is the Dodgers announcer. He announced for over 60 years, and so we're going to look at some of the top 5 baseball announcers. And you feel free to chime in and go with it.
Absolutely.
Number 5 on this list, and I could have went 10 or 15 deep, but you only have so much time, is Ernie Harwell, who calls the Detroit Tigers clincher in 1987. This guy was a legend. He was their Jack Buck, and we'll roll that right here.
Tigers lead 1-0 on the Herndon home run.
These guys with these classic voices, they're just, you don't find them. They're going away.
Waiting, and the pitch. He swings. There's a little roller back to Tanana. He gloves it. Throw to first. The Tigers are the champions. They win it. And Tanana does a great job. And they are celebrating on the diamond. The Tigers are mobbing each other over near.
And that was Ernie Harwell, the Detroit Tigers announcer. That was from 1987. The next guy we go to is Mel Allen, who announced, you remember the show?
Absolutely.
What was the show?
This Week in Baseball.
You got it. This Week in Baseball. What a great voice he had. This clip here, he is announcing Pete Rose's 3,631st hit, which broke Musical's record for National League hits.
561 fans. Something funny happened on the way to breaking Stan the Man's record. Rose led off the first inning with this bouncer. Now, was it a hit or an error? Well, the fireworks might have indicated a base hit, but it was clearly an error.
And this is 1981.
Not only the shortstop, but also the pyrotechnician. Them's the fellas that worked the fireworks. Finally, in the 8th inning, Pete stroked the clean hit everyone had come to see. This time, the message was loud and clear.
You couldn't grow up and not have heard Mel Allen.
Absolutely.
This Week in Baseball. Yeah, what a great announcer.
Absolutely. And I think the thing you're hearing with these announcers and the others coming up,
right.
They didn't try and articulate every word. They simply spoke from the heart for the true love of the game.
Yep.
And it was more genuine, more natural, and that's what we fell in love with.
And if they had unique quirks, that was them.
Oh, absolutely.
That was
absolutely.
Them. If they mispronounced it, that was them.
That was them.
And that comes to my next guy here.
Oh.
We're not going to hear him announce a game, but we're going to hear him talk about Cardinals coach who was George Kissel. Kissel was with the organization for decades and decades.
Yes, sir.
He was probably 90 or older when he died and still a Cardinal and still going to spring training. And this is Mike Shannon talking about George Kissel when they honored him and made him a Cardinal Hall of Famer.
Such a special man with so many qualities, but he lived what he preached. He was just phenomenal. I can't tell you. It would take 2 encyclopedias to tell you about the qualities of Mr. Kissel. He was phenomenal. But he had the great art of teaching. And what you could learn from George Kissel is immense. But one of his great teaching methods was simplicity. And as young players that would come into the spring training, he had a couple of sayings. One of them was, if he caught a guy that he thought was hanging around the wrong people, he'd say, ducks of a feather. Very short, but the guy got the point. And then, as Dick said, come early, stay late, and you'll be around for a long time. And that's true, and even today, you hear these young players talking about that. He also would tell general managers, owners, and people in the front office, he said, when you go into someone's house, you don't rearrange the furniture. And the one I remember most is because, if a guy was out late or doing this and doing that, he'd say, you can't hoot with the owls and soar with the eagles.
Is there a better voice than Mike Shannon?
You'd be hard-pressed.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
The other one that we're going to go with, the other St. Louis guy, naturally, is going to be Jack Buck. And here he's calling a game that is in the early 80s. and we'll go right to that.
Brock's 3,000th hit and his stolen base records.
Reisleben looks. He's going. The pitch is high. The throw is safe. He stole it. The throw got by the shortstop, and Brock has done it. They would have thrown him out, but the shortstop couldn't handle the bad throw. And this is it, folks. Brock has now stolen 893.
Ozzie Smith's Go Crazy Folks home run.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game by the score of 3-2 on a home run by the Wizard.
Jack Clark's pennant clincher.
Swinging a long one into left field. Adios, goodbye, and maybe that's a winner.
Bob Gibson's no-hitter, and the list goes on. And, of course, the always welcome, that's a winner.
Suter from the belt to the plate. A swing and a miss, and that's a winner. That's a winner. A World Series winner for the Cardinals.
That was the 82 World Series.
Absolutely.
Best time.
How do you not get a chill
I'm
watching
sitting
that?
here in goosebumps, and the home run by Ozzie Smith, it's something you'll remember forever. I remember listening to it on the radio. Right for this, my mom was in Kmart, Granite City, and we're listening to the game, and it happened. I couldn't wait to get home and watch Channel 5, whatever the news was.
See it.
Absolutely. And then it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then Jack Clark did it a couple days later.
Right.
And both off, if I'm not mistaken, Niedenfuhrer?
I believe so.
Yeah, both home runs.
Yeah, what a call, huh? And so here is one of Vin Scully's most notable calls. This is from the 1988 World Series. This is the home run. You know what's coming, don't you?
Absolutely.
This is Kirk Gibson's home run in '88, Dodgers versus the A's, Game 1 of the World Series. I believe the guy's knee was acting up and his hamstring on the other leg. So he didn't have the ability to push off either side. He couldn't favor one or the other. And this at-bat that Gibson was up was about a 6-minute long at-bat.
Yeah, against
Eckersley.
Dennis Eckersley. I got the wrong Eck. And you're right, he fouled off I don't know how many different pitches and continued to battle through.
Yep.
And if you heard the kind of post-game, he talked to Tony La Russa. Not Tony La Russa, my manager's all
he was
the A's coach,
manager,
but Tommy Lasorda about, give me a shot. You know, what do we got to lose here? There's 2 outs. Let me get up here and just take a couple swings. Yeah. And sure enough, he caught the right one.
Right, and so here is that home run call by Vin Scully.
Sachs waiting on deck.
Listen to that voice.
The game right now is at the plate. High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
And I tell you, Vin Scully, he even did video games. You know, I put a game and play with my kids, and I'm listening to the announcer, and I was, what the heck? And it was Vin Scully announcing it. So.
He also had a cameo in the Naked Gun movie.
Oh, really?
They played at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, I love when they throw these guys in there. Bob Barker with the Bob Barker and the Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore, absolutely.
The hockey player who wants to be a golfer. All right, that leads us to our Rush Lyric of the Day.
It's time for your song lyrics of the day from Rush.
All right, from the debut album in 1974, the song relies heavily on an extensive instrumental jam. 2 guitar solos by Alex Lifeson are featured on the Working Man track, and your lyric from the song is, "It seems to me I could live my life a lot better than I think I am. That's why they call me the Working Man."
Seems to me I could live my life a lot better than I think I am.
pets. When you need a kennel, select only the best, and that's Spencer Kennel in O'Fallon, Illinois. Spencer Kennel offers premium care of your pet in a clean, friendly environment. All of our kennels are inside-outside kennels, climate-controlled, and come with a Kuranda bed. We even feature 2 wings to accommodate smaller and elderly dogs in a calm setting. Feel free to come tour the facility anytime during business hours. Spencer Kennel in O'Fallon, Illinois, 1405 East Highway 50. Contact them online at spencerpets.com. Once again, that's Spencer Kennel in O'Fallon, Illinois. Locate them online at spencerpets.com. Hey guys, looking for something different? How about Grogan's Academy of Martial Arts? Located in Edwardsville near the post office. Their mission is to help each student live the best possible life through exceptional martial arts instruction. They are one-of-a-kind life skills and character development academy that specializes in positive motivation, physical fitness, and practical self-defense. Kids learn to make good choices and develop good habits, leading to better behavior at home and better grades in school. Teens develop confidence and high self-esteem while learning to focus their attention and achieve goals. At Grogan Martial Arts, their principles are humility, integrity, courtesy, confidence, courage, and perseverance. Their goal is black belt excellence, and they lead by example. Visit them online at grogansmartialarts.com or call them at 618-656-7700. Once again, that's grogansmartialarts.com or call at 618-656-7700. Looking to purchase a house? Look no further than Epic Realty. Epic Realty specializes in the personal side of the realty business, catering to new owners or owners that haven't bought in a while. With our 201-point selling process, each agent takes great care in making sure your experience is refreshing. Unlike the big names in the business, Epic Realty ensures that you aren't lost in the shuffle. With our high-tech marketing, we use the latest tools in the business to your advantage and at no extra cost. Epic Realty is based in Madison and St. Clair counties, as well as St. Louis. We not only help customers to buy new homes, but we also hold seminars for new buyers. Essentially, we're a personal service ready to handle each new buyer with care. Intimidated by the process of buying? Look no further than Epic Realty. Contact Managing Broker Kim Binda of Epic Realty at 618-205-3337 or online at epicrealty.biz. Once again, that's Epic Realty at 618-205-3337 or online at epicrealty.biz.
Gonna be some sweet sounds coming down the night shift.
Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camp.
Hey folks, you want to get in shape and lose weight? Look no further than Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps in Granite City. Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps run classes 7 days a week, specialize in training ordinary people, but delivering extraordinary results. In fact, they cater to people who aren't elite athletes. Mike Dawson has created what could best be called a gigantic support group for those wanting to not only get in shape, but to stay in shape. Contact Mike Dawson at 618-806-5311 or on Facebook at Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps. Once again, contact Mike Dawson at 618-806-5311 or on Facebook at Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps.
Sing it.
Okay, let's get serious now. Back to the Rick Fowler Show.
Thank you, Steve Stockman, for the rejoin. All right, if you just joined us, this is the Rick Fowler Show. We are on RiotRadioRocks.com. Call-in number is 618-223-8054. We had a good first hour with Rich Grogan. We're going to have a special go on the way back section. I've got two special guests in here. We're going to get to them just a little bit. I mentioned earlier we have Mr. Ron Yates and we have Johno Kabbendjian. in the Riot Radio studio right now. So without further ado, we're going to start our next segment, which is we're going to do a This Week in History before we do anything else. So this first week of October, This Week in History 2003, Arnold Schwarzenegger becomes the governor of California. You know what? I've done a lot of MC work for USA Powerlifting. I've did some of their biggest events, including the Arnold Classic, which had more athletes than the Olympics in Columbus, Ohio. And they bring Schwarzenegger around, and he thanks the athletes and wishes them well. And I was the guy who interviewed him. Two things I remember. The first thing was I've never been so claustrophobic as I have when I interviewed Schwarzenegger. He had more security. And then second, he had more people flocking around him. I've never been around somebody, I was 6 inches from Arnold, and people were just clawing to get at us. I didn't freak out, but my God, if there ever was a chance to, that would have been it. The second thought I had was, with all of the money that he has, dude, trim the eyebrows. He looked like he had Austrian caterpillars up on his face. And there's a video somewhere. I'll find that and post that sometime. 1995, O.J. was acquitted. Everybody probably remembers where they were at when O.J. was acquitted. I remember coming home. I was taking a college class. 1990, we're going to play the theme here. The show, Beverly Hills 90210. Debuted, and I am proud to say, as I was going to have to give up my man card, that I never ever seen it. Featured Luke Perry, Jason Priestley, Tori Spelling, and a couple of the others. Ran for 10 years. 91 was the 91 marked the song that was number one. Good Vibrations by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Talk about trip down memory lane. I remember hearing this out at stages a time or two. We go to 1988. Televangelist Jim Baker is indicted for mail and wire fraud. He built a 2,000-acre theme park, 1,800-seat studio, and then did 8 years of his 45-year sentence. It didn't help that he had sex with his former church secretary, who was Jessica Hahn. She later showed up all over in rock videos, talk shows, and even did the Playboy. So, yep, he went down in flames, and his empire was no more. In 1970, you had the overdose of Janis Joplin. Died of a heroin overdose in her hotel room. The blues singer was no more. 68. Bob Gibson strikes out 17 in a World Series game against the Tigers. He's a 22-game winner that year, an ERA of 1.12 in 1968. And I'm going to tell you, I've seen a lot of people come to the checkpoint at the airport. Bob Gibson's one of them. He came through and we scanned him, and I pat his knee down and sent him on his merry little way. And I asked him, I said, who was the toughest guy you faced? The one guy you hated to see? The batter that had your number. True to form, Cranky Gibson looks at me, he scowls, and he says, none of them. I thought, oh yeah, baby. You talk about a fist pump at 5 a.m. So he's getting his shoes on and gathering his items. And the guy behind him is doing the same. And this guy says, oh, you were a ball player? I thought, oh, God, you're about to get sucker punched. Get the hell out of here, you idiot. And so he just kind of smiled and he says, yeah, I played. And then he walked off, and the guy behind him says, dude, you know who that was? That was Bob Gibson. And says, who? It's like, oh, you're about to get sucker punched by me. In 57, the first artificial satellite Sputnik launched by USSR. It had a diameter of 22 inches, weighed 184 pounds, traveled at 18,000 miles an hour around the Earth. 47 was your first presidential speech on TV, given by Harry Truman. Although only thousands had their TVs, by the 50s, millions would have it. And then in 1927, work begins on Mount Rushmore in the Black Hills National Forest. It took 12 years to complete. The Washingtons, of course, are the presidents, of course, are Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abe Lincoln, and Teddy Roosevelt. So there is your This Week in History, guys, which takes us to the piece that I have been excited about all day. This is our Going Way Back. We're going way back. We're going back to 1986, where the Bears won the Super Bowl. Top Gun was big in the theaters. A young guy named Mike Tyson was making a name in the boxing world. And locally, the East St. Louis Flyers were on top of the country, top football team, having a winning streak that went back to 1982. I want to introduce to the Rick Fowler Show Coach Ron Yates and Johno Kabbendjian. Welcome, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Good to be here, babe.
Yeah. Well, that was some year, and this is the 30th anniversary of that game where we knocked off East St. Louis. Incredible.
You want to take it first, Coach?
Go for it, Johno.
I tell you what, man, that whole day, the night before, I had the guys come over to my house. My parents cooked up some kebabs. We had the video going around each guy. It was like the kamikazes last night before they crashed their plane into a ship or something. You know,
ceremonial meal.
Yeah, we were all talking about what this event was, what we represented, what we're all about. We're 4-0, and before that, we closed out the junior year on a big note too. I mean, we were riding high. Everything was set in place for this event to happen. It's unbelievable, man.
Now, Ron, you took the head coach job in the fall of '84. That was your first season. That was our first year back in the Southwestern Conference. What was the first thing that you did when you took over the team?
Well, that first year in '84, the teachers went on strike. So we had 2 games of strike that first year, and that was when Timmy Moran and Kurt Hilla and Chris Leffman were my track captains in the fall of '84. And I really felt sorry for those seniors because we were on strike. And that was a pretty good bunch of kids. We ended up going 3-4 that first year. And without those 2 games lost to strike, we could have had a real good year.
Right.
And Lonnie Cook was back there, and Chris Reuter. I think Shane Cole was the quarterback.
These were guys we were looking up to.
Right.
I mean, as freshmen, we were looking at these guys like, man, there's a lot of beef right there.
Shane Cole was the old Steeler.
Yes.
That transferred when they shut North down.
That was his senior year.
One of the cool things was seeing the different colored jackets.
Yeah. I remember that.
Right.
Yeah, how could you? You had the black and gray. We had the
red and tan.
Red and tan.
Now I think most of them are red and black, but the red and tan, I think.
Yeah, red and.
But that was a cool thing to see in the hallways. Yeah.
Hey, you remember that one time, Coach? And Coach seen me do this in the lunchroom. Okay, he's just walking around. There's like 200-300 people eating, and he's just watching me, but he's not making a move or anything. He knows I'm up to no good, and I got a bunch of food that it's been crushed, and we put liquid and all that, and I walk up to these gals, and I squeeze this bag and I squeeze it through my shoulder as I act like I'm throwing up right at their feet. And he just looked at me like, you got to be kidding me.
So you pulled a great Santini.
Oh, I was constantly doing something like that. And Coach was like, you got to. And then we had Logan, our assistant coach.
Right, Roy Logan.
And he's like, I want to take you on one day. I want to take you out.
Well, he was an ambitious one, wasn't he?
Yeah, I got to take you out in the pits. I go, how about tomorrow? We get dressed up. We go out at lunch. I'm tired of hearing about you and what you did back then. I wish I had a shot at you. And I'm like, you can have it. Let's go out there. Let's finish this.
You just got to bull your neck, right?
He'd get up right in my chest. I'm tired of this. I'm going to take him on, that little fella. Anyway, it was a good time, man.
I had to rein him in a few times, Johno.
What was that, Coach?
I had to rein Coach Logan in a few times after practice. I said, "Now, Roy, you got to take it easy a little bit. You know, don't be so
feisty,
flamboyant,
feisty."
Here's a question: what about Bob? Did you ever have to pull him in?
Yeah,
he hesitates, and
yeah. In fact, he Coach Steggy was a great defensive coordinator.
Oh yeah,
he got on a lot of people's nerves because he was so competitive, but he also had a bad mouth out there.
We like that about him.
I love Coach Steggy.
Yeah.
I told Coach Steggy before the game, when we win, not if we win, but when we win this game today, it may be in the 10th second left or whatever, I'm picking you up with Yarber, and we're going to carry you out in the middle of. And I know you're the head coach, but we couldn't pick you up. We were too damn tired at the time. I mean, you were a little bigger than Steggy, and he's like, "Hey, now, boys, just get out there and do what you can." Yeah, we're picking you up. And we did. We picked him up. We ran with him. We almost gave the old man a heart attack, too.
Well, in the video that you posted last night, I watched it, the 8-minute clip that showed all the photos.
Yeah,
and all.
that was
I
unbelievable.
seen him on somebody's shoulders.
That was me and Yarber,
I
man.
seen it.
That was me and Yarber.
That's crazy.
That's unbelievable. And I love Coach going to Yarber. Yarber be laid out on the field. He just randomly be laid out sometimes. And Coach said, "Hey, you know what? If you lay out on the field, and if there's nothing wrong with you, there's going to be something wrong with you once you get to the sideline."
Oh, I can just hear it.
I'm tired of you just laying out on the field.
I can just hear it.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Charlie Yarber, you're going to have to get up off that field, or I'm going to kick your tail sideways.
Oh, Charlie.
So the team went 4-4 in the fall of '85, getting trounced by Eastside on a Saturday at Parsons Field, 60-0, which is baffling to think because you had guys that could play. You had Ron Owens, Kip Simpson, the Hogans, Gocklin, Gushleff. Was East St. Louis just that good?
Yeah, that was in their heyday.
Right.
In the whole decade of the 80s, they were just a juggernaut.
And they finished 14-0 that year, winning the 6A title.
I got to tell you about that game. I had one of my best damn games I ever played. Was that 60-0? I had fumble recovery. I had a couple sacks. I had like 6-7 plays on that game. We're getting in the bus, and I look at the seniors. I go, the word I'll use crap. This crap ain't happening next year. I'll tell you this right now. You seniors go home after the season. I was crying. I was really pissed because this meant something to us, and we've never been abused like that. I said to my people right then and there, this is not going to happen next year. And you know what? I kept that motto throughout the entire. I told even Coach, we are not going to put up with this. And he goes, "Well, John, just do what you can. That's about all we can ask from you." And I go, "Yeah, Coach, I'm serious." And he goes, Okay, now beat it. Get out of the office now.
Because as sophomores, we had played there that morning, and I think we got beat 20-6, or it wasn't that lopsided. And apparently, all their studs were probably on the varsity level already.
Let me tell you something about the team of 85. We were 4-4. We won our last 3 out of 4 and our last 3 that year. And there was Tracy McElroy and Chris Greer, Danny Lineman.
Mike Fenolio.
We had some good ball players. We were just a play or two, or maybe a call and a play or two from being 6-2 that year. And then we won our last 3 out of 4. And then we won our first 5. So we had an 8-game winning streak. Going into the all-time.
You know what, Coach? They made that out to be game of the week. I mean, it was in the Post-Dispatch. We were so pumped up about it. There were actual St. Louis Cardinal football players that were cited at that game.
Really?
Yeah, and the whole stadium was. We knew that this was something special. When I walked out on the field, I'm a captain. I walked out there. Kerwin's out there. I told him, This ain't going to be a cakewalk today. And he just gave me this little weird little smile that he put on. I said, I don't care what you say today. This is my day. This is our house. You're not going to walk out of here with a win, and you're not going to embarrass us. And it's like the whole 3 games before that, man, we were like, we'd be, when we play away, we'd be in the bus and we'd be singing the family tradition. and we see that fire, we see that torch burning at Grand City Steel.
Right.
This was our year. This was, everything was about us, and man, it was like the script was written.
Yeah.
The script was written, and we had to carry it out.
So let me ask you, what went into the summer of '86 that helped make the team so successful?
Well, I think the kids bought into the conditioning and training and actually putting in the time that summer.
I think also that when Coach, the team before us, the sophomores that were now juniors, we were getting a good pedigree.
Right.
This pedigree that was coming in were based on winners as well.
Well, you had Terry Stanley, Steve Stockman,
these
Tom
guys,
Johnson.
these guys knew how to win, and we liked that. We were going to keep the tradition. We had two All-Americans. Hogan's were All-American players.
Right.
Now we needed something to complement us, and I went up to East Junior and I go, I want to be your captain.
Yeah.
So they go, we'll vote you. They voted me captain. Coach pulls me aside. He goes, John, come to my office. I come to his office. He says to me, hey, I think you could be a great captain, but you got to keep your damn grades up too, because I can't have a captain not play out on the field, and you're not going to walk out there without suiting up. And I said, I swear to you, if you allow me to be the captain, I'm not going to let you down.
I just got a text in. I will tell you, Steve Stockman is listening and texted in, and he said what made that team was the chemistry.
Yeah.
And then the other thing he wanted me to ask Johno if you ever got over your fear of dead birds.
Hell no. Hell no. Keep those damn things away. I don't know who likes dead birds. They put a dead bird in my baseball glove one time, and I never recovered after that. What's he bringing that up for?
That's just what he does.
What's wrong with him?
Small
What's
talk.
wrong with him?
You can talk right to him. He's listening.
Hey, Steve, how you doing, buddy?
So, Ron, at any point early on in let's say, the 86 season, did you say to Bob Stegemeyer or Roy, hey, I think we've got something here?
You know, I never did procrastinate that far ahead. The old adage, one game at a time. I knew we got the experience and we had the momentum from the previous year. And I know those juniors got a lot of good experience from the 85 season. So I thought that if we would remain injury-free and we kept our athletes and our blue-collar workers meshed together and working together, I thought we could have a good team. But the boys surprised me. They worked hard, and the chemistry developed each game, and the athletes made the play, and the blue-collar workers did their job. And except for a couple games, it was a heck of a year.
Yeah, we'll get to those couple games.
All right.
But Coach, he had this thing where he didn't talk too much about us personally, like we could do this, we could do that. It was just a play at a time. Let's get it all taken care of and all. Okay. Let's get business taken. It was a great philosophy because the way we were already feeling the wins. We knew how to win from the season before and from all the way back to Little Rascal years. We were the last of the Little Rascal.
And that's what I was going to bring up. These kids were the last.
We were the last of the Mohegans, you might say.
Orange helmets.
Yeah, and so we knew how to win. We knew how to get it done, and I just can't tell you that it was just a whole, like George Allen once said, all 40 men do their job. There's no way we could lose. And going back to Stockton, Coach made a very controversial call when he took Todd Rhodes out of that spot. When he took Todd Rhodes out of that spot, you would think the seniors would rebel a little bit. This is our guy. We went with it. In Stockton, we treated, and that's the thing about it. We treated the juniors as one of us. It was a family.
Right.
The seniors, our year when we were juniors, that chemistry wasn't there. It was the seniors, and they hung out with them, and the juniors hung. We accepted everyone as one family, and that's how we played. And that's what you needed.
Hey guys, you're just listening to the Rick Fowler Show. We've got Ron Yates in here and Johno Kabbendjian. We're talking about the upset of East St. Louis in 1980. 86. We're going to run some commercials. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Our call-in line, if you want to call in, is 618-223-8054. Once again, it's 618-223-8054. We'll be right back.
Parents of pets, when you need a kennel, select only the best, and that's Spencer Kennel in O'Fallon, Illinois. Spencer Kennel offers premium care of your pet in a clean, friendly environment. All of our kennels are inside-outside kennels, climate-controlled, and come with a Kuranda bed. We even feature 2 wings to accommodate smaller and elderly dogs in a calm setting. Feel free to come tour the facility anytime during business hours. Spencer Kennel in O'Fallon, Illinois, 1405 East Highway 50. Contact them online at spencerpets.com. Once again, that's Spencer Kennel in O'Fallon, Illinois. Locate them online at spencerpets.com. Hey guys, looking for something different? How about Grogan's Academy of Martial Arts? Located in Edwardsville near the post office. Their mission is to help each student live the best possible life through exceptional martial arts instruction. They are one-of-a-kind life skills and character development academy that specializes in positive motivation, physical fitness, and practical self-defense. Kids learn to make good choices and develop good habits, leading to better behavior at home and better grades in school. Teens develop confidence and high self-esteem while learning to focus their attention and achieve goals. At Grogan Martial Arts, their principles are humility, integrity, courtesy, confidence, courage, and perseverance. Their goal is black belt excellence, and they lead by example. Visit them online at grogansmartialarts.com or call them at 618-656-7700. Once again, that's grogansmartialarts.com or call at 618-656-7700. Looking to purchase a house? Look no further than Epic Realty. Epic Realty specializes in the personal side of the realty business, catering to new owners or owners that haven't bought in a while. With our 201-point selling process, each agent takes great care in making sure your experience is refreshing. Unlike the big names in the business, Epic Realty ensures that you aren't lost in the shuffle. With our high-tech marketing, we use the latest tools in the business to your advantage and at no extra cost. Epic Realty is based in Madison and St. Clair counties, as well as St. Louis. We not only help customers to buy new homes, but we also hold seminars for new buyers. Essentially, we're a personal service ready to handle each new buyer with care. Intimidated by the process of buying? Look no further than Epic Realty. Contact Managing Broker Kim Binda of Epic Realty at 618-205-3337 or online at epicrealty.biz. Once again, that's Epic Realty at 618-205-3337 or online at epicrealty.biz.
Gonna be some sweet sounds coming down the night shift.
Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camp.
Hey folks, you want to get in shape and lose weight? Look no further than Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps in Granite City. Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps run classes 7 days a week, specialize in training ordinary people, but delivering extraordinary results. In fact, they cater to people who aren't elite athletes. Mike Dawson has created what could best be called a gigantic support group for those wanting to not only get in shape, but to stay in shape. Contact Mike Dawson at 618-806-5311 or on Facebook at Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps. Once again, contact Mike Dawson at 618-806-5311 or on Facebook at Dawson's Fitness and Boot Camps.
Sing it. We will rock you. We will rock you. She said I seen you in here before.
Okay, if you just joined us, you're listening to the Rick Fowler Show. We've got Johno Kabbendjian, Ron Yates in the studio talking about the 1986 Granite City Warriors that knocked off the East St. Louis Flyers. They were the number one team in the entire country, 44-game winning streak that went all the way back to 1982. If you guys want to call in, the number is 618-223-8054. We're going way back here. John, I will tell you, Steve Stockman texted in. He said he brought up the dead bird because Todd Rhodes had chased you, I guess, at a practice. And he says it was one of his favorite memories, and he was dying.
Yeah, thanks. Now I need counseling again. Beat it, Stockman. Way to go. I tell you, I couldn't help it here. It's a dead bird. I'll tell you, I get no respect.
That's
hey,
good.
But it was a great day though, man. And then, who is this? Who is this Brian Cox? I know he played in the NFL. Big deal. You know what, dude? We did not water down no field like you're saying. It poured that night. Yeah. We were out there that night on the 50-yard line talking about what we got to do. It was around 1 a.m. We had guys out there just walking around, the seniors. It was like a Hallmark moment, man, about to happen the day. Who the hell's out there like the guy on Caddyshack, that Carl.
Right.
We're watering down the field. And you know, here's another thing, too. I heard that the coach, Kerwin Price, went out there. George have told me this. Yeah. He went out there at 8:30 in the morning. He seen Coach Shannon out on our field, walking around, getting to know what spikes to wear and everything for his Flyers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so everything that this Cox guy says, he's crazy. He's crazy.
Leading up to the
bring him
game,
on the show.
Was it a good week of practice?
Yeah, I thought it was a good week of practice. I don't.
Yeah, well, you know what though, Coach? On that note, I think you kept it to where it was more like the blueprint type of practice. It wasn't like this week we're going to see if someone could take Johno's position. The hell with that. That wasn't going around that week. I mean, there was no cage fights or anything like that to get someone's position. I think Coach that week made it to where let's just know what we got to do, and let's know what can break us down, and what we have to do to not break down that week. It wasn't more, the testosterone level wasn't as high, you might say. There was no positions that were on the wanted list.
I know we had a meeting with Coach Logan, Coach Tegemeier. We talked a lot, and that Sunday night at our scouting meeting, we talked, let's just remain status quo. You know, we've won 4 in a row with what we've been doing. Let's don't, just because we got East Side, let's just play the game and put our hand in the sand, in the dirt, and let's get after them, and let's be aggressive. And I remember the one thing we really coached hard, and John will probably attest to this. We really worked hard on having the defensive people umbrella Kerwin Price. You know, keep everything.
Contain.
Make him pass the ball, because he wasn't that good a passer. So we wanted him, and we didn't want him to run because he's a better runner than a passer. So our whole philosophy was umbrella him. And the kids did a great job of following what we tried to do.
Let me stop you right there. We've got a caller on the line. That is one of the unique things about Right Radio. We do not screen our calls.
Nope.
There is no telling what's about to happen here. So, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am. Is this Rick? This is Tim Davis.
Hey, Tim Davis from Las Vegas. How are you?
Holy cow, baby!
Yeah.
Hey, Timmy.
Hey, I'm good, guys. How are you?
Super.
Hey, Tim and Johno, man, I miss you, bro.
Hey, same here. I'm listening to this podcast and just reliving the memories. It's amazing. It's amazing that it's been 30 years.
Yeah. Hey, bro, remember coming to my house and we'd kick back and my parents would make us kebabs, and it was a good time, wasn't it? Before mostly all our games, my parents took care of us like that, and we were one big family.
Yeah, I do remember that, and back to what you guys have touched on. I mean, I think that was the whole thing. I mean, the chemistry, the building of the team, and just the full camaraderie of the group of kids. It was something special.
Hey, I tell you what, Rick, about Davis. He was the best-looking guy on the team with that uniform on. I mean, this thing looked good on him. I mean, with us, we look like William Perry. But this guy here, I mean, this guy looked like he looked good in the damn pants, didn't he?
It fit him well, didn't it?
Yeah. I think you got him a different type of suit, didn't you?
Well, he looked like a football player.
Yeah.
You look at this guy and you think, Tim, how tall were you in high school?
6 foot, I think.
6 foot.
About 10, but they probably listed me at 6 foot.
And what did you play at? What weight?
180.
Okay.
And I was probably pushing it as well.
So 6 foot, 180 pounds. Throw the pads on him. He's 200. This guy looked like a stud. As a senior, I was 5'6" and 150 pounds.
Yeah.
I was not given a whole lot of football player genetic pool stuff.
Timmy and me, we worked great in the defensive huddle. I mean, I looked at him. I mean, he got the calls in. Him and Jamie used to get the calls in. One time, you remember this, Timmy, with Coach brought in Stoudemire into the huddle, and then Jamie goes, "What the hell are you doing in here? Get out! Get out!" He took him by the arm and threw him out of the huddle. And we just looked at each other like, he just threw Stoudemire out of our huddle. And Stoffel, what was his name? Stoudemire, what was his name? You know what I'm talking about, Timmy?
I do, but I'm not going to be able to recall the name.
It started with an S.
Was he a junior or senior?
He was a junior. And the poor kid just, Coach Steggy brought him in. Next thing you know, he made a U-turn and ran right back to the bench. And then Steggy said, "What are you doing here?" And he goes, "Jamie threw me out of the huddle." So, I mean, we had a chemistry, and we didn't want anything to blow it either. We just knew each other what we were supposed to do.
Right. Was it Jim Stout?
Stout, that's it.
Thank you, Steve Stockman, texting from
I
work.
love you, Stockman.
Steve Stockman has saved you. You were cussing him 5 minutes ago, Johno. So,
was I cussing?
No. Jimmy Stout. It was Jim Stout.
Okay, Jim Stout. That's it.
He was.
Hey, Jim, if you're listening, I think you could have handled the play. It was Hogan that threw you out, not me.
Well, the Rick Fowler Show's only got about 4 people who listen, so I guarantee he's probably not listening. So.
Well, we got Timmy Davis from Vegas.
Hey, we might have set a record. No, you know what? We've been as far west as California, so we've already been past Vegas. So, Tim, what were your thoughts and your memories on the game? How it went?
First of all, it's been a blur, and it's something that when you're 17, 18 years old, you don't really. I didn't look upon it as greatly as I probably should have now that I've aged 30 plus years, and you look back and see what we accomplished. It really is something to just remember, and it's just a great group of guys and coaches, and just a great time in my life. One thing I definitely want to comment on is you guys brought up about watering down the field, and that did not happen. And I can remember, I don't know who all was with us, but obviously Johno was, because he mentioned we did go out to the field, and it was like 12 or 1 in the morning, and it was kind of ominous, and it was kind of foggy, and it was damp.
Hey,
there was about a group of 8 of us. We probably just left Johno's house eating.
Exactly. I didn't know we brought out the water hose.
We walked out to the middle of the field, and we weren't there very long. We weren't goofing around, and it was just like, all right, guys, tomorrow's the day. And
damn, boy, you got my hair to stand up again. Yeah. Can you believe that? You got my hair to stand up.
I'm not really sure that anyone but the players believed it could really happen.
Yeah.
I know, I told my dad, hey, Dad, we're going to beat this team. We've been watching film. We're going to beat them. And he'd be like, yeah, just go on out there, do the best you can.
I know.
And it came to fruition that it was just amazing.
You know how many bets I took in that game?
About it, to be honest.
Let me stop you there, guys. If you're listening from home, this is the Rick Fowler Show. We're on Riot Radio. Rocks.com. Callers, if you're calling in and it goes to voicemail, I will tell you we can only take one call at a time, so just call right back and we'll take your call. I know we had somebody calling in. Stockman's comment is he said we played on the same field, watered down or not, so it wasn't really that much of an advantage.
True.
I didn't know they were a turf horse anyway.
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't know they were a turf horse and they couldn't run on slop anyway. I didn't know East Side was that bad. They just needed to run on grass.
Right. Now, one thing that's important to note was one of the big plays in the game was early, first quarter, and it was Kevin Sutphin that put the hit on Marvin Lampkin. And I'm going to play it just about a minute or two clip. We had Lampkin in the Riot Radio studio earlier this year. It was a great. We had him for 2 hours. We were going to go 45 minutes. It was so good, and Darren, he was there. So let me play that real fast for you.
So the game was a wet, rainy Saturday. It was at Granite. Now, at some point, I think it was near the end of the first half, you got injured. What was the injury? I had heard collarbone, dislocated shoulder, ruptured spleen, terminal cancer. I mean, the legend grows. I mean, it's like Ferris Bueller. It's like they had a cup out. Save Marvin. You haven't heard? He's on. What was the injury?
It was actually a dislocated shoulder.
Okay, so there it is.
Yep.
For those buddies of mine that are listening, it was a
ruptured spleen.
It was a dislocated shoulder, and the fellow that did it, believe it or not, is as mild-mannered as can be, and I never knew he had a mean streak or a hitter's streak in him. It was Kevin Sutphin, who I haven't seen a whole lot of Kevin online. He keeps a very low profile, which is not surprising.
But Kevin definitely put that helmet in right on my shoulder.
Right in the right spot.
All right, there's your words from Marvin Lampkin on the official injury. So we'd always heard it was dislocated or separated, so there it was.
Nice.
He was in here in, I believe, July.
Super cool guy. And he says 4 or 5 times a year, people always remind him they got beat by Granite City.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
Yep, and of course I ran into him, of all places, at 5 a.m. at the airport. And I looked at the license, and I said, dude, I got to tell you, my head still hurts from trying to tackle you. Those big old quads on him. So, yeah, he was a great interview, and for him to come in, if you didn't get to listen to it, he was one of our July shows. He pulled back the curtain on East St. Louis and he told everything. It was like going behind the Iron Curtain.
He was a good dude.
Yeah, it was
Definitely.
good. I want to thank Michelle Parker for stepping in and joining us. Of Spencer Kennel, thank you for coming in. Good to see you.
You too, Rick. Sorry I had to come by and see everybody, on this anniversary.
We're glad to have you.
Right.
Absolutely. Michelle is a class of 88, and I'm sure she was there that day.
So I have a quick question. I mean, what was the record before you guys played East St. Louis that first time?
Our record?
You guys were it was a good record, right? You were
4-0. Yeah, we're 4-0.
You were 4-0. So there was already a kind of a buzz before the game even happened. There was something, like Brett Ware said, there was something in the air.
Well, I think a lot of that was that we'd won our 3 out of the 4 from the last year. So we were really 7-0 consecutive wins, combining the two seasons, So that was a lot of it also. Yeah.
So there was a buzz even before the game. From the way Marvin was talking, I mean, they weren't taking you guys lightly. They knew it was going to be,
They brought beach balls, man. Their fans had brought beach balls to disgrace us. They were going to disgrace us. They were making it known that this 4-0 record was all a fluke.
Right.
They didn't have any respect. How could you respect any team that you beat 60-0?
Hey, Tim, do you have anything else for us?
No, in fact, I didn't want to cut anybody off, but I'm going to continue to listen because I know some other guys are probably trying to call in, and I don't want to tie up the line. So,
hey, Timmy, reach out and get me, man.
I will do.
Hey, all right, Timmy, this is Coach. Good to see you last week, buddy.
You too, Coach. I appreciate you looking us up, and take care.
You too.
All right.
Tell your dad I said hi.
Okay, so that was Tim Davis, class of 87.
I'm glad he called in.
Out in
that was cool.
out in Vegas.
Yeah, like I was saying, though, how could you respect a team that you beat 60-0? I mean, you raped and pillaged the whole team.
Yeah.
Right.
So they didn't have any respect. They wanted to abuse us again.
I believe we're going to have a caller calling in. If they're not already on the line, caller, go ahead.
Yeah, like I you respect the team that you beat. Hello?
I hear us in the background.
Yep, that was actually Tim's. All right, we just dropped that call. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, this is Paul Sutter.
Hey,
Paul
Sutter!
Yeah. What's up, Paul?
Fellas.
Another guy that went to my house.
That's great.
Paul, are you able to listen where you're at right now?
Yeah, I was listening. I just heard Tim call in. Coach, how are you, sir?
Hey.
Just hear your voice.
I'm doing great, Paul. How you doing? You hanging in, buddy?
I'm living the dream, sir.
You in Colorado?
I'm in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Rick, I heard you say, I was 5'6" and 150 pounds my senior year also, buddy.
Hey, what? No love to me, you little. I'm not even gonna say.
You were my bestest buddy and kept me fed all the time, and your mama was the best woman. I tell you what, she was a
God
sweetheart.
bless.
I loved your family.
Oh, God bless. How you doing, man? Haven't seen you or talked to you in a while since that last Eagles party we had.
I'm doing good. Life's good here in Oklahoma, and I had my 47th birthday yesterday. That game was on my 17th birthday, and that was the best birthday present I've ever had.
Wow. God bless, man.
Wow, that's neat.
Paul, what do you remember from the game most? What sticks out? Did you have any pregame rituals or anything that you remember strange?
Yeah, I mean, I taped my pass the exact same way for every game, and did my wrists and all this, and went through my same steps I always went through. I think the one thing that stuck out the most was Coach told us that we were going to win as long as we didn't allow the big play, and as long as we kept them to short yardage in our game, that they couldn't beat us, and the only way they would win is by big plays, and that's how they always beat everybody. They broke their backs, and when we came in at halftime, it was the same thing. We were doing our job, and then it was just that love/hate in the back of your mind, that fear of, all right, let's not let a big play go this second half and get them up. And as long as we did that, which is exactly what we did, we kept them short yardage plays and nothing really huge. And when it came to it, line versus line, their size versus ours, we had more heart.
As a caller on the Rick Fowler Show, you have instantly become a guest, and you are getting texts in here. Pat Collerberg says, Paul Sutter was an old hockey teammate. I remember working on his Mustang. So you can say hello directly to Pat because he is listening.
Hey, Pat, how are you? Yeah, I had a good old 70 Mustang. Had a couple different Mustangs. I couldn't keep from wrecking them back then in high school, but so.
What about you, Johno? Any pregame rituals? Anything you did that day?
My locker stunk like crap, and I like to keep it like that. And I had a marker that I wrote on my locker, if it is to be, it's up to me. That was my motto, and that's what I always kept. I always read that, opened up the locker. By the way, there were some roaches in my locker, Coach. I wish you would have killed them.
That was the
It scared
custodian.
the hell out of me.
Custodian's problem.
Yeah. But in any case, that's the motto I went by, and the team again. The team we hung out together. That Sutter that you're talking to was the last breed of the Little Rascals. He was part of that group. We were the last of the Mohegans on the Little Rascals. So. Yeah. I mean, that's how committed Granite was back then to raising these kids on a winning note. And now I don't think they got it. They don't have Little Rascal football anymore or anything like that.
Well, they have some tackle football that they brought back. The Granite City Braves football program has resurrected tackle football. So it might take a little while for it to...
I think it started before the season. All of us hanging out, we knew something was coming up. So, the good old 80s and the mullets and everything else, and I had a big old mullet and all that. But, before the season started, we went and Tim Davis's mom shaved our heads, and when she put our numbers in the back, we shaved our numbers in and came in with mohawks, and I dyed my hair, and still to this day, the funny thing was my senior pictures didn't take, so I had to retake them with that dyed mohawk. But it's one of those things where before the season ever started, we had the camaraderie. It wasn't about the size. It was, I may have only weighed 150 pounds, and our line may have only averaged, if we were lucky, 195. But we had hearts of 400-pound guys, and you'd have thought we were in the gym every day and throwing around heavy weights, but there wasn't anybody that was going to get past us when it came to our teammates and the guy standing next to us. So
I think the defensive formation that the coaches put us into gave us the opportunity to win. It wasn't a 3-4 type of defense or anything like that. We knew that the gap defense was the only way we could stop their run. That was it, Coach. Honest to God, you guys had us in the right spot. We had to carry out what you guys gave to us because I think it was a 6'5" defense.
Variations of the 62, but yeah, sometimes we like 6'5", yeah.
And that was kind of like everyone's lined up, and then we worked on for 2 weeks on the pursue angles, little minor things on just the pursue, because we knew if they get past that line, you're not done running here, son. You got to break. You got to run an angle to make a play. If it's 5-6 yards, do not let a big play happen. That was the big key.
Right. We're going to go to a clip when Marvin was here that actually Ron Yates had called in. So the coach had called and talked to Marvin that day, and we're going to roll that. It's about a minute clip.
What was the celebration for you like, and what did you do afterwards?
Well, I tell you what, I didn't have time really to celebrate because that next Saturday we played Springfield Griffin, and I had to go scout them on that Saturday night after we played Eastside. Me and Coach Logan drove up to Springfield and scouted Springfield Griffin.
So there was never any time to sit around and talk show circuit or anything crazy like that, right?
Oh, it sure wasn't.
But I remember taking calls at the house. USA Today, I think Time, a couple of big magazines called in. They heard about the East St. Louis, the almighty East St. Louis. Their 44-game winning streak snapped.
And they got you on the phone?
Well, we were taking calls for Dad because he was up scouting. I remember taking these calls. Wow. That game, they beat St. Louis. It's pretty big. That's a big deal, isn't it? Wow.
I got to say, I would feel sorry for those reporters that might have landed you on the telephone.
Yeah, really.
Can you imagine getting Darren? I'm Darren Yates. Who the hell are you, man? Like Bart Simpson or something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the hell with that, man. We partied our ass off that night.
I got to say, Paul, I want to thank you, Paul. The reason you gave us your jersey, 27. My brother and I were both 27. You're the reason our favorite number is that. So thank you, my friend. That was a very cool gesture on your part. That was very cool.
Well, I'll tell you, that jersey is still hanging in my closet, and I just pulled it out yesterday, and
awesome.
I could fit in it, so that's a good thing still. So it's a great deal. I hope the spirit's still alive there in Granite. I want to go ahead and jump off so other people get a chance to call, but Johno, love you, brother.
Love you too, bro.
I miss you, and hopefully I can get back in November and see you guys. I'd love to get back together with everybody.
No kidding, man. We got to get back together.
Are you going to keep listening, Paul?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, because I got some things to say about you.
All right, well,
okay.
You all have a blessed rest of the day. Rick, thank you for getting this together. This is a fabulous thing, and I'll tell you one thing. All I can say is this team will always be in the forefront of my mind, and is an incredible experience for this old guy now, and I'm glad I have this memory. So God bless y'all.
Okay, see you, buddy.
Awesome, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Good talking to you, man.
All right, that was Paul Sutter calling in from Oklahoma.
I remember as a freshman in the stands, it was just so exciting. Yeah. And even today in football games, football's crazy. You never know until that last second's off in the fourth quarter. So talk a little bit about, as you guys were sensing the upset, like the third quarter, the fourth quarter, were you guys talking about it? Were you not talking about it? What was the mindset? Because the pressure's on them at that point. You guys,
no. We had a great opportunity, and we knew that one play could break this thing wide open again. 17-14 is nothing to rest your body on. I mean, we had to keep it up.
Well, with them, 3 seconds, and it's no longer 17-14.
Yeah, exactly.
They were the masters of the huge play.
I looked at the score, and I looked at G. I looked at Georgia, and he goes, "Dude, Butch, we got to dig in. We got to dig in. And I go, gee, you're right, man. And I'm seeing his neck collar. It's dangling down one side. I'm saying this is all-out war now, man. We're going to win this damn thing. This is everything that we talked about is now going to happen. Everything we prophesized is going to happen, and this blue-collar town is going to have a streak broken, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, and I'm not even. I focused all on my guy that I'm going against right now, and everyone is just mechanically tuned into the guy on the other end, and we could care less about who got knocked out or anything. They all look like big demonic creatures to us right now.
It's funny you mentioned the blue-collar part. I met Bob Shannon and bought his book, The Right Kind of Heroes. He was teaching at East St. Louis, and I was actually... The powerlifting coach I had was a teacher over there who was tight with Shannon. His name was Lee Marsh. And when Lee passed away in 92, I bought the book, and I told Shannon, said, hey, Lee really appreciated everything you did for him. But he mentioned in that book that he had a real queasy feeling about coming to Granite City. And he said it was a steel town, blue collar, and boy, those kids were tough.
So what you coach toward the end of the game? You
well, there's a couple things before I forget them. First of all, I think Paul Sutter came over from the soccer program,
right?
His senior year, right? Or did he play?
Was it senior or towards the end, maybe middle junior? I don't know.
Anyway, Paul, you were probably one of the most dependable slot receivers, wing backs that I've ever coached in 37 years of coaching in Granite City.
Damn.
You were dependable. You were coachable. You were smart. You looked in the eye. I never did have to tell you twice the same thing. And I'll never forget you. You were a real unsung hero of that football team.
Wow.
Your senior year.
Nice.
And also the second half of that Eastside game. I was so proud of the guys of what they did. They maintained their discipline and their technique throughout that second half, and if they had lost their mental edge or lost their mental capabilities of thinking on their feet, we would have lost that ball game. I mean, offensive line, defensive line, they kept the umbrella philosophy. Offensive line, they kept their feet on their dry blocks. They didn't slip and slide. They had great position. A lot of technique was going on. And I was so proud of the way they handled that second half.
Yeah.
Nice.
I haven't talked too much about Timmy Hogan, but I'm going to tell you right there, that was our field general. God bless him. There is no player that I'll ever play or seen or anything like that compared to Timmy Hogan. He ran everything. Coach could call play in, and if we didn't think that thing was going to work on the offense, they would tell me, Coach called that in. There's no way that Timmy called that off. He audibled that because there was no way that was going to happen. And it was, they worked synchronized together, Coach and Timmy, because Timmy, he had that much faith in Timmy, and we had that much faith in Timmy that he's probably the one rarest player that we've ever had in Granite City history that could get away with that and say, you know what, Coach, there was no way that hole was opening up. We had to change it.
I remember with that. I remember one play that I called. I believe it was 4th and 19. I called a draw with Lenny Whiteside, and Timmy looked over the sideline, and I said, do it. I gave him the sign. Go for it, because it's there. And Lenny Whiteside ran that so beautifully. We told him to get the ball and hesitate for a count or two. Let the pressure pass him. And he did that to perfection, 1,001, 1,002, and he squared up the middle of the field and got that first down.
Wow.
It was. Do you remember that play or not?
Well, you know what? I remember a lot. Yeah, Coach. Stuff like that, you never forget.
That was I remember, and I'll never forget Timmy looking over. I could see his cock his head inside his helmet like a puppy dog. Coach, are you sure?
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah.
So what did Bob Shannon say after the game when you guys embraced in the middle of the field or whatever? What did he say?
He was pretty classy. He was classy about it. He just shook hands and slapped my shoulder and said, "Good game, Coach. You outplayed us and you outcoached us." that was it.
That was it.
And then we went on.
I seen him in a basketball game in I think it was a basketball game, and he seen me, and he seen me with my Letterman jacket on, and he goes, "You beat my boys. You beat my boys."
Yeah.
And that was really damn cool, and I got the utmost respect for Bob Shannon and everything that he represents. You know, that Bob Shannon worked his ass off for the team, and that's the type of guy he was. And you know what, that's one thing that our coaching staff made us understand is we respected who we played against, and we never, except for one Collinsville, we never respected you. If you're listening out there, your K-Hawk team was never respected, okay? We'll still abuse you right now. 49 years old, I'll still hop out there and still abuse you. But in any case, we showed the utmost respect for every opponent out there.
Right. And that's what Marvin Lampkin said. He said that coach was as good as gold. He said a lot of the deeds that he did never went seen.
And he talked about the wet field. He said no, like Stockman said, it was the same field for everybody.
Right.
Granite beat us that day.
So there were no
every phase.
No sour grapes from Lampkin.
I think he even said they popped us in the mouth. I think yeah. I mean, so
he made all his personnel, all his people be class act too, just like he was.
Right.
You know. So the whole program was a class act when he was
class act all the way.
Yeah,
all the way. God bless them, man. And they just took on the Edwardsville team this last weekend, and they showed why they're the dominant team in the Southwest Conference.
Who won that? I didn't even see.
East Side did.
What was the score?
I think it was they pulled back a touchdown, but it was 20-6 or 20-7, something like that.
Wow. You know, one thing I talked with Marvin about that I missed was Parsons Field. What a great place. Was that like going back to a time warp or what? It's like the longest yard or something out of a movie.
That was a frightening place to play, man.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I'm telling you.
It was.
Didn't they shoot at us one time or gunshots in the air?
We heard shots, yeah, we heard shots, yeah.
Well, they didn't have games at night, right? They were all daytime.
All Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. One thing I was going to ask, why was our game at home on a Saturday?
I think that's just the way they scheduled it, Coach.
Well, Greg Patton was the AD back then, and I assume that maybe they just did that because they didn't want any problem.
Anything extra.
Yeah.
I definitely think that it had to do something with more people could come to the game also.
Because 2 years prior, they were there on a Friday night.
Yeah.
When they knocked us off 53.
Well, I remember, I played, of course. I was a tough little guy, but I remember playing in St. Louis, there was always just a certain kind of a sting to their tackling. I remember I caught a kickoff, and they timed it like it was a punt. That's how fast they were. And they timed it, hit me. I flew back 5 yards. I think it was the only time he ran out onto the field to see if I was like, I couldn't breathe for like a minute. Oh, it was insane.
I ran out, and I remember as I was running out, I had my wife single out in the fans in the stand. I knew where she was. I just said, "Stay back."
Yeah.
I just put my hands up. Just stay there.
Yeah.
Stay there. Yeah.
So they were tough. So now I got to ask too, if you don't mind, the rematch. I mean, it was so hyped up. Of course, it didn't go as well, but still, you held them to what, 17, 20 points, or something like that.
20-0.
What was the rematch like on the field? Was there trash talking? Was it?
No, we didn't talk any trash. They didn't talk any trash. It was like two, 3 big plays, and that was the game. I mean, it was a good defensive struggle, and it just didn't happen. They knew the Ryturski move. They knew the tight end was 5 in, and they were going to cover. They had our blueprints down completely. They knew exactly what was going to happen. Now, the game after Eastside in the regular season was Althoff, and I got to tell you guys about this, because they were just kicking our butts. They were walking. I think 2 years ago, I finally got the Adidas track mark off my chest.
And that was a 49-0 trashing.
42. Don't give them 49, please. But anyway, late in the third quarter, one of our guys, Stadtfelter, I think it was, he was a defensive lineman. Well, they hit this guy so hard that they took his face mask, and it was around the edge here, and they're up by 28-0. I looked at one of my other players. I think it was Laval. I go, I got to get the hell out of here. And he goes, well, what are you going to do? I go, I'm going to punch this guy in the face. He goes, you're kidding. You'll get kicked. I go, I got to get out. So I grabbed the guy, and I just whacked him across the face. And they go, you're out. And they kicked him out, too, which was good. I mean, he didn't deserve it. But and then I'm walking off the field, and Coach looked at me, and he goes, you took the easy way out. You know that? You took the easy way out. And I go, that's right. But you know what? We got back to the annex. Our bus there wasn't a peep on this bus. I mean, if you spit on the bus floor, you would have heard it. We got there, and now the girls have set up all the little foods, the little snacks, the Rice Krispie treats and stuff, you know. And I see Georgia. Now, Coach is giving this really loud, and it's like we don't even care right now.
Was it Coach Yates or Coach Stegmaier?
Coach Yates. And I'm watching Georgia. He's just peeling this Rice Krispie treat real quietly, and every time Coach Yates would yell, he'd take another little slice of this thing
so
open,
squeeze it in.
Yeah. So he got all this in, and I'm like, I just can't stop laughing. I'm looking. It's a wash. It's a wash. We lost. We got our ass kicked, and that's just what Coach said was going to happen, because we sat with our corn dogs at lunchtime and read everything the Althoff coach was writing. There is no way we could beat this Granite team. Our boys are just not as good as this Granite team. And here we are eating our corn dogs thinking, you know, he's probably right. But this Althoff team was ready. They were eating glass because their coach said that. Right. And we're walking out of the tunnel, and then they got bottles hitting them going, the Warriors come out to play. And I'm like, really? This wasn't in the brochure. These guys are really hyped up. In our first series, we drove down to their 10-yard line, interception, and we go, wait, that doesn't happen either. Right. Everything just went to hell. And one after another went to... as Coach said, I took the easy way out. I did. But that week of coaching on the practice, he did not take it out on us like... I think it was more or less he knew that this is a wash.
Yeah, you're going to have a hangover after knocking off East St. Louis. How do you not?
Let's just move on. Right. I'm not going to punish this team for that. And we moved on pretty good, Coach.
Well, you know, I really tried that week what all the coaches did. We knew what you guys were thinking. You read the headlines and everything. Yeah. And of all the teams to play after Eastside was a Glenn Schott coached team. You know, because Schott was always a good coach. I respected him. And we knew that this could happen, you know. And we were all trying to tell the kids, but they were all 8 foot tall that week, you know. It just wasn't going to happen. But the first drive of the game, you mentioned the first drive of the game, we took it to them. We took it to them. A 45, 55-yard drive, probably 60 or 65.
Juan Cox intercepts the ball.
Yeah, and if we score that touchdown, it might be a different game.
Yeah.
If we score that touchdown. He intercepted it in the end zone, and they brought out the 20. And because we were driving, run, pass, run, pass, and then Timmy threw that interception, and it was all over. It was all over after that.
Yeah.
You know?
So this was the first time they'd won the Southwestern Conference in how many years? Well, they hadn't been back since only 84, right? The fall of 84 we came back. So it would have been how many years?
1928, I think.
And you know what? It took the last game to decide this. I mean, if we lost to Belleville East that day, there would have been a three-way tie, and God knows where we would have been. The whole season would have went to hell if we lose to Belleville East, and we got a 4-0 record in our conference. Right. And Coach had to put this in our head that you guys got to win this game. If you don't win this game, you don't win anything. You may not even get in the playoff. Right. Going into this.
I didn't know that. Wow.
And I had to take this one guy. He went on to... He had all these scholarships, and I made him eat crap. I had like a couple sacks. I was flopping in the air, and I made Roy Logan. I mean, he was like, "Wow, that's my boy out there." That's.
He didn't want any of you. He didn't want any after that, did he?
No, he still did. He kept saying he did. So, but in any case, I had Saunders. offensive lineman, big guy. His name was Saunders, I think.
From East?
No, from Belleville East. Yeah. And I had to go over him, and man, this kid was like 6'5", and I made it happen.
I think we were leading at halftime 7-0. I think.
Yeah.
At Belleville
And
East.
you brought up Brian Dillon. That he had a concussion, he couldn't play, and you know what? Coach said, there's one guy out here right now that would love to be here, that would love to have suited up, and would love to have this moment with you guys, and he can't. Why don't you do it for him? Why don't you do it for yourself? And my God, I mean, you got us pumped up, man.
That was a blonde-haired kid, right?
Yeah. Brian Dillon.
Yeah.
I just got a text from Stockman. He says your talk at the East halftime game was awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know, my halftime talks and my pregame talks, I always tried to come from a different angle. I always tried a gimmick of some type, you know, so the kids will listen to me.
You can only say the same thing before they start tuning you out.
Right. So
the East Side game, though, you didn't do much talking. You said, you guys, you know what you have to do, and it was really fast, and you walked out. But the Belleville East, you could see he had a little extra, and he got Brian Dillon as the forefront of the guy that couldn't be there. He's the guy that would have loved to have been there.
Right,
man, we just fed off of this. And then he threw him the game ball after the game was over. And, I mean, it was just there.
Wow.
It was just there. Awesome. It was something that we'll never forget.
Wow. It was neat. Yeah. But
Brian Dillon, you remember him?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I sure do.
Well, me and Damon would sneak into the whatever annex you guys were playing at to watch you talk halftime stuff.
Yeah, you guys would have that Cardinal football helmet on and the little jerseys on. We thought these guys were so cute. I love these two guys. They were always around me.
Yeah.
I talked to them all the time.
Oh yeah.
God bless them.
All right.
I got a few things at school that I told them. You know, I got some football players that stick up for me. So you guys saved my butt a couple times.
Any time for you, man.
That's great, brother. You guys are awesome.
Membership has its privileges, right?
But I mean, I can imagine your halftime talk at Belleville East. I mean, that's huge. If you win the Southwestern Conference. I mean, that was probably a big deal to you.
Oh yeah, I mean
everybody, of course, but
we had a lot riding on that.
I could see the passion probably was kicked up a notch in your voice at halftime, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the one game, Springfield Griffin. I'm going to tell a story about this.
Yeah.
You know, after we lost to Althoff, then Springfield Griffin came down.
Yeah, 3 games in a row like that, man.
Yeah, and we lost 17-14, I believe.
That was our game, man.
We were driving in the last quarter, 3 minutes to go in the last quarter, and we were driving. We were knocking them off the ball and doing well. I gave I believe it was a 4th and 1 on like inside the 30, the 28-yard line. And I gave the ball to Terry Stanley. And you could tell from it was on the far side, it was on Springfield Griffin's side. And we thought he made it. It was a bad spot. And T didn't say much to me in the 2 years I coached him. I mean, he might have said 20 words to me, you know. But he came off the sideline. He looked me straight in the eye. He said, "Coach, I made it." He said, "Coach, I made it." I said, "T, I know you did. I think we just got a bad spot. But if we would have made that, we would either kicked a field goal and tied it, or I think we had the momentum to go in and win that game."
Coach, we were in field goal range. I think you want to put the nail in the coffin on them.
Stockman said the play was go 42. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let me stop you real fast. Brian Dillon has chimed in.
Oh, God bless.
He is listening. Best emotional speech before the game came from Coach Yates that senior year. He says, "I wasn't on the field, but I was in everyone's heart." He's listening.
Man.
That's right, bro. That's right. We never forgot you either.
He's listening.
And you know the guy on Springfield Griffin that made that? You heard his name throughout. Giacalone.
Yeah.
That was the guy. How the hell I just remember Giacalone is beyond
How do you forget a name like that?
Giacalone was on every tackle on Springfield Griffin. If you're out there listening, I don't like you. You killed us, brother.
I have an order with Giacalone.
After the game in the hallway, Coach Leonard, Kenny Leonard, I think he's still coaching up there at Springfield Griffin. Kenny Leonard came up to me, and this is something that never happened for an opposing coach on a enemy ball field. He said, "Coach, I want to let you know," he said, "that was a bad spot." He said, "That should have been a first down," which didn't make me feel any better. But then again, it's sort of, because I had faith in T, and I had faith in our offensive line to get that yard. It wasn't even a yard, I don't believe. But if we would have got that first down, if the spot would have been right, we would have either scored or kicked the field goal.
They loaded that box, and to this very day, if I hang out with Rhodey will say, there was nothing I could do more than that. I mean, they had loaded everything on him, and it wasn't fair to Rhodey that to this. I mean, in his mind, he felt that he got pushed back. But again, Coach is saying we had a bad spot. And Timmy Hogan said we had a bad spot. I was on defense. I don't know, but all I know is Rhodey took that personally. To this very day, he says to me that was a bad spot, and they had loaded the box on him.
Well, that should make him feel better if the opposing coach. He might.
No, you said that.
He might not know that. I don't know, but
no, you said that. Yeah. You told him that.
Oh, did I? Okay. So,
but then you replaced him. With Stockman. It's all right though. Everyone was happy because then Rhodey went to defense.
You know, according to Steve, though, he only played center when there was a nose guard, or vice versa. He didn't play center when the other team had a nose guard, and you flip-flopped them because of that.
Well,
and he would remember. He is like the Rain Man when it comes to this.
Yeah. Well, Steve was probably, as centers go, was probably one of my best technique position blockers that I've coached. Now, Rhodes was a drive blocker.
You're right.
He was the push and shove guy and the drive guy. But Steve was the position guy. He could take that set in position, and he might not knock the guy over, but the guy wouldn't get.
He would use them, their strength against them. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So that's why I alternated those guys.
Yeah.
So
nice, good stuff.
Anyway.
All right.
Then we went to Quincy. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
We took care of Quincy.
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to bat that ball down at the very end. Matter of fact, no one talks about that, but Bush was driving, and I batted the ball down. We won the game, and that's it. We got on the bus, got the hell out of Quincy.
In fact, several people that went to both games, the Eastside game and Quincy game, they'll stand to the point that the Quincy game was the most exciting football game they've ever seen.
And that's
Jamie Hogan, unbelievable night, man.
Yeah.
Jamie is the best wideout I have ever seen. I mean, he's like Steve Largent. I mean, the guy could catch anything. Anything that was in the air, everyone stood up in the crowd, and they knew that Jamie Hogan was going to make something happen. Most beautiful player I ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Timmy Hogan was the best field general, but Jamie Hogan was the most beautiful. He was like Picasso out on the field there.
Yeah,
he made everything look good.
Well, they had definitely a brother chemistry, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I want to I don't know whether Jamie knows. Yeah, I know. But Jamie Hogan was one receiver away from getting a scholarship at Brigham Young University. Lavelle Edwards was the head coach back then, and I had talked and filmed the old tapes back then, the 8-track tapes, to Lavelle Edwards, and talked to him on the phone a couple of times, and there was about 2-3 weeks that I really thought that BYU was going to bite on Jamie. I really thought it was going to happen, and then I got a call, 3 weeks later from Coach Edwards said, I got to go with my scouting department. They want to go with this guy from Oregon or from Washington, somewhere out there, somewhere local. And then so Jamie got lost out, but he was close to getting a full go. He was.
He was the best that I ever seen, man.
That ball was in the air. It was his. That ball was in the air. It was his. Yeah, it's great.
All right. Before we wrap it up, any final thoughts on the game and the season, Johno?
I just creeped up to me this whole 30 years. And Timmy Hogan, he texted me a message. He goes, good job, guys. We did it. And I didn't know what he was talking about. It was early in the morning. He goes, today we beat Eastside.
Yeah.
And then a whole thread of all our players just getting on and talking to each other. And you know what? 30 years, and it feels like it was just yesterday that this all happened.
Sure does.
30 years ago, and that night, the whole entire town running out on the field, and we're all hugging each other. The fans were part of it. I got fans now that come up to me and said, I was there. It's like the JFK shooting. I know what I was doing that day. I know where I was, and that's how it was, man. And I love every one of you guys listening that were part of this, and everyone in the stands. That you guys were a part of this too. Believe it or not, if I didn't see you guys out there that day, if it was a half-assed crowd out there, I wouldn't have probably given everything, or might have missed a play here or there. But you guys kept us in the game.
What's funny, you talk about knowing where you were at. That year, I took off on my powerlifting pilgrimage, and I was in Cape Girardeau that day. And a little 148er, I squatted 303, pulled a 336 dead, and benched to 203. And I came back, and I always had trouble making weight. And so what do you do after you make weight and you lift? You eat. And I always made sure I had pizza. And so I went to Panteras, and somebody said, hey, did you hear? Says Granite knocked off Visa. I said, whoa, get out of here. You're kidding me. And I just couldn't believe it.
That's awesome.
And so I made sure I had a few extra adult sodas that night.
Hey, Coach, what about you, man?
Well, I want to say one thing to Rick. First of all, he was one of the toughest, smallest defensive tackles I've ever coached. I want to say that right off the bat. And as far as the 86 guys, whoever's listening, the rumor has it that we're going to be nominated for the Hall of Fame, the Grand City Hall of Fame. So hang in there. It won't be till next November. It's supposed to be the first weekend in November. So rumor has it that I think Jim Greenwald, the superintendent of the school district, is supposed to nominate our team for the Hall of Fame for next November. So keep that first weekend open, and if it happens, come on into Granite. And on the 86 team, I mentioned it before, but we had just enough athletes and just enough lunch pail guys that made that season work, and made the 85 season work too. I mean, like I said, we were just a player or called to have been 6-2 in 85. We won 8 in a row. And these guys stuck together, like Johno said. They were together for years and years, and it paid off. And the thing is that they listened to the coaches. At least they acted like they listened. Now they might said things in the locker room afterwards, but they acted like they listened, and they were coachable, and they were tough. And when push comes to shove, all except one game, all except the Althoff game, but the other 8 games, even the one we lost to Springfield Griffin, they were in there battling. I'd take these guys anytime behind my back, any one of them. And congratulate all you guys listening, and Johno. He's been a big part of everything around here. So thanks a lot.
Right on.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
3 final questions when you're on the Rick Fowler Show. Here they are. What do you listen to, Johno?
I listen to the Rick Fowler Show.
That a boy. Good answer. Coach?
Right radio all the way.
All right. Second one. You're on death row. What would your last meal be, Johno?
A steak and a lobster tail. And I'm making a lobster tail that's from Alaska, so I'll have a couple extra days.
There you go. Coach?
Coconut shrimp.
Coconut shrimp.
And a baked potato.
Easy to please. Last question, Johno. The one person, living or dead, that you'd like to see again or meet?
Wow, living or dead, huh? I don't know, man.
That you have met before or have never met?
Well, I can't wait till I don't want to say that. I don't have one. I don't have one, and I don't mean I can't wait, but it'd probably be Jesus down the line.
We've heard that here.
We can hold you off a while, Jesus. I don't need to see you yet.
We've heard that on the Rick Fowler Show. Ron.
You know, I'm a big Western fan.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to meet John Wayne.
Right on.
The Big Duke.
Yeah.
I'd like to meet John Wayne.
Hey, you know what? I like to change that. Rodney Dangerfield was my guy.
Okay.
I like to have met Rodney Dangerfield before he died.
Right.
What did I say Jesus for?
Well,
what the hell is wrong with that?
It's been said before, so it's not a terrible answer.
That's right.
It's we had Ed Belfour on the show.
I don't even know what Jesus will say to me
He
when he sees me.
Straighten up a little bit, will you?
Yeah, no kidding.
All right.
I can't have you in our house, guy.
All right. Well, for Johno Kabbendjian, Coach Ron Yates, Michelle Parker, Spencer Kennel, and Darren Yates, I'm Rick Fowler. Thank you for listening, and once again, congratulations to the Warrior football team in 1986 on this 30-year anniversary.
That's a wrap.
Do you feel blame? Are you mad? Do you feel like woods about referendums?
Want to play, then I'm getting the out of here.
This is your celebration. But it's much too late for goodbye. Yes, it's much too late for goodbye. My old friend.
Hey, don't go away just yet. We have one final thing to mention. It is about the homecoming game coming up this weekend, right? It's a Friday night, 7 o'clock. Do you know who they're playing, Michelle?
I do not.
Alton. So this weekend is the homecoming game. Get your respective classmates together and get back to the stadium. So there it is. Thank you.